Hi, everybody. Welcome to What's New with Goodman Games. We'll introduce ourselves, then we'll tell you about the plan for today. My name is Joseph Goodman, publisher at Goodman Games. I'm going to pass it over to Mike, who's right beside me on Zoom.
And I would be Michael Curtis, the Director of Product Development for Dungeon Crawl Classics here at Goodman Games. And as is my wont, I will pass it to my partner on the other side of the fence, Chris.
Hey everybody, Chris Doyle. I am the Director of Product Development on the 5e side of the house, and I will pass it over to Matt.
Hey everybody, my name is Matt Hildebrand. I am the art director for Goodman Games, and I get to routinely have meetings and hold hands with Chris and Mike multiple times a week.
True story.
All right. And did we all introduce ourselves? I got distracted.
And by process of elimination.
Yes.
Oh, that was my job. I apologize. Hey, there's one other guy, the best looking of all of us.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Brandon LaSalle at your service, staff writer and road crew chieftain. Thanks for showing up, everybody. And Mark.
Well, and Mark will come on later. Brendan is revealing our secret surprises. Yes.
Dang it.
So, yeah.
It's Mark Hamill from Star Wars, so get excited.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. So we're here live streaming to you right now on Twitch. Later on, this will be posted to YouTube. And if we get this to work right, it might even appear on some of the crowdfunding pages. So whether you're watching this live or later on as a recording, thanks for tuning in. The purpose of this seminar, which is called What's New with Goodman Games, is to talk about what's new with Goodman Games. So we will discuss things that are happening as soon as tomorrow, like Planet of Cyclops Con, going all the way through to mid to late 2025, including several of our crowdfunding projects for next year. Actually, 3 of the 4 crowdfunding projects for next year we'll discuss. The 4th one still has a couple pieces to slot into place, but we will tell you all about a lot of exciting things coming down the pike for next year. This show will theoretically go on for about 2 hours. However, there's so much to talk about. Every time we do one of these, there's like more and more to talk about. So we will hopefully keep it to 2 hours. And if we don't, then sorry. But there's lots of exciting stuff. And after this, we'll drop into the opening ceremonies for Planet of the Cyclops Con. So if you can stick around for that as well, we'll kick off some of the online gaming that's going to happen this weekend. But now, Elena, if we can transition to the motto screen, we're going to recognize the Goodman Games motto and attempt to say it out loud together. So a while back, we decided to define what exactly is Goodman Games. We all know that we publish, lots of cool games, but what is it? What's the inspiration for that? Where does it all come from? And I don't know if anybody in this has ever tried to sing Happy Birthday on Zoom. It never works. Nobody's ever aligned properly. So we're going to try to say this motto together. I realized too late that we should have had the little bouncing ball things. And if it just sounds terrible, just mute us and read along at home. So everybody, how about I'll say 3, 2, 1, then we'll attempt to read in the same cadence. Ready? All right. 3, 2, 1. We're no heroes. No writers and artists. Leaders, sci-fi geeks and skate punks. Daydreamers and dungeon crawlers. The weird kids who didn't fit in. We create the games we want to play.
And
all are welcome. Join us, including you. All right. You. All right. That was great.
I wonder if we could do that to the Yellow Roses. We are no heroes. We have to find a popular song that has the same cadence, and then
that's true. Yeah. All right. Well, if you're watching this somewhere, tell us in the chat or tell us in the comments what you think of that. We think that sums up where a lot of our inspirations came from, and hopefully you appreciate that as well. Now, a couple of quick public service announcements before we dive into all the details. First, Goodman Games has an annual awards ceremony called the Goodie Awards. We give out awards for those who make a significant difference or impact in the fan community, or just to gaming in general. Whether it's our, partners in making Goodman Games thrive, or fans who put on conventions, or fans who do amazing charity acts for people who need help, anything along those lines. And also including just amazing judges. There's some amazing game masters out there who have brought new people into the hobby or just brought adventures alive. There's amazing players who everybody wants to game with. There's convention organizers who just make a con so much fun. There's game store owners who have a retail store that's just awesome to hang out at, and you want to go visit it, whether there's new products or not, just to be there. So if you know somebody in your gaming community who you'd like to recognize for doing an awesome job and any or all of the above, please make sure to email info@goodman-games.com and nominate them for Goodie Awards. We take a lot of the nominations and turn them into awards each year, and it is the fans who nominate the majority of the people who receive an award. So please shoot us a note. Next public service announcement is that, believe it or not, Gen Con event submission is in progress. So if you would like to run an event at Gen Con under the Goodman Games banner, let us know. Shoot us a note at info@goodman-games.com. We're always looking for judges to run games, and there's all sorts of perks involved, including free badges and hotel room credits and things like that if you run enough games. And speaking of judging, some of you had a chance to play in our year 0 of organized play this year. We premiered our early escapades and organized play at several cons, and we are right now setting up our organized play events for Gary Con of next year. Unlike this year where it was kind of under the radar, next year it's going to be big and flashy. So if you would like to run a game for Goodman Games in our new exciting year 1 organized play program that will premiere at GaryCon next year, shoot us a note at info@goodman-games.com. Mr. Brendan here will be talking more about organized play later in the show. And but we're looking for judges right now to get in early on the ground floor. And I think this is the last announcement, but our Black Friday sale is now live. We call it the Holidays, HAUL. Get it, Holidays. It's up to 40% off on almost everything Goodman Games in our online store, plus typically about 20% off on almost all the indie RPG titles. So if you're looking for a great deal, go to goodman-games/store right now. And if you're watching this later recorded on YouTube, you might still have time. The sale goes for a while, but if not, put a note in your calendar for a year from now and make sure you're on time next time. All right, thanks everybody.
And if you are watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, and definitely hit that bell button. We are always putting out new killer content. We will send it your way right into your inbox because we love you. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and our online store, I'm going to drop the link into the chat in case you need the link. And anyway, yeah, there's lots to talk about. I can't believe I went so long. We got to keep moving.
Hey everybody, you get to hang out with us two knuckleheads. So we are back, and we are outside of our basement, and we are here to talk to you about something called X-Crawl Classics. Brendan, have you heard of this thing?
I know of it.
Okay.
Yes. So X-Crawl Classics, it is now live and for sale, and it's in your face. It is the world I've been developing for many, many years, wherein it's Dungeon Crawl Classics, but set in the mass media or social media streaming age. It's modern alternate fantasy where crawlers are participating in live action dungeons that are going on, being held inside of arenas. All of the encounters, of course, are lethal, full lethal, but still artificial, still created by people. And that's all of the everything is better from dungeon crawling and crowd work, fame, grandstanding, celebrity, and big money prizes.
And a whole bunch of stuff. And we people have been receiving it. We have some of the stuff which is still on the way to various our friends and neighbors far and abroad. But we released a huge amount of it, and we're not done. So let's talk about what's coming up next, which is going to be Save X-Crawl XCC number 7. Now this is actually a tournament module that we've run twice. We ran it once on CyclopsCon online, and then we ran it at Gen Con this year. So what is the premise of Save X-Crawl? Why do people want to get this after they get done with XCC number 6?
Absolutely. So the premise of Save X-Crawl is that the Emperor and the government of the North American Empire, where X-Crawl is played, they decide they're going to take X-Crawl away from the masses. They are going to go ahead and make it a private thing that they're only going to use to train the military with, and no longer allow fans to have access to it. And it's a terrible crime. But the Oracle of Key West says that if the crawlers can put on the Denizens crawlers can put on an event so amazing that the gods themselves are pleased, that they demand that X-Crawl remain a part of the public, remain out there for all of the fans. And so we're asking everyone to enlist to sign up, DJs and players together, to save X-Crawl.
Yep, because it is going to be up to you to save X-Crawl. So this, as we said, we've done this twice now, and this is your chance to actually play the tournament at home or introduce it as part of your XCC campaign. Now, because we've done this twice, we did it once online and then once in purpose. So we've had chance to monkey around with it and fine tune it and tweak it and everything. So this is, you're receiving the best version of XCC number 7, Save X-Crawl, even if you've already played it. If you've had it inflicted upon you, either online or at Gen Con, you will be able to get it and then inflict it on others. And you'll be able to see the stuff that you missed the first time around and some things that have changed a little bit. So so this is very exciting. I think I've already seen some comments here in the Twitch channel. So I'm assured that we've shown you the cover. So we've got some awesome sauce going on right there. I think if I'm remembering the covering correctly, we should be safe from any lawsuits from General Mills. I think we've just remembering it. So so it is a heck of a lot of fun for those of you who have played Biomedia. Oh, for somebody who's already making a Fruit Brute content. So obviously we know our content. We know our crowd here. Do you have a favorite a bit about Save X-Crawl, Brendan? Before, without ruining the surprises,
Sure. There is one very challenging bit that's going to force everyone to learn a lot about the other character classes in X-Crawl. And I'm super proud of the way that turned out. That was written by Mark Bruner, and it's such a fabulous room. It's one of those rooms that you read a design, you're like, oh my God, why didn't I think of that first? And in play, it was hilarious. And it's one of those rooms that either people immediately get and they own it and it's amazing, or you beat them into guacamole. Either way, what bliss.
So look for it in the year to come. That would be X-Crawl number 7, Save X-Crawl. But that's not all. It's almost as if we're some sort of advert here. But if you backed X-Crawl online, if you backed it on the back, it was Kickstarter. All the crowdfunding goes together. Kickstarter. You know that part of that deal was X-Crawl Insider, and we are hard at work on X-Crawl Insider number 1. We have it in layout right now. We're taking a look at it. We're proofing it. And for those of you who are coming in late or don't know what X-Crawl Insider is, Brendan, why don't you inform the wonderful people what an X-Crawl Insider is?
Why, it was my pleasure, my good friend. So X-Crawl Insider is the chance for us to share new and interesting X-Crawl content with you to go ahead and increase your games, but also to make room for all of you crazies out there to introduce your own crazy content and send that our way. So it's about half stuff that me and people in the staff created, and then it's all, and then half it's all the best of the best submissions of people who sent in their ideas for new DJs, new magic items, new spells, and new monsters, and some great ones, some groovy ones. So it has some really, really neat stuff. And I can't wait to share it with everyone because it did exactly what I wanted it to do. It was fun to work on, and it was a way to get all these people who had ideas for it to we're a place where they can share all of those ideas with all of y'all. And I can't wait for it to be in your hands.
Yep. Having been part of the submission process and gone through everything, I'm very happy to say that we've had 12 of the people who backed it. They submitted stuff and we accepted those. Out of those who accepted, 12 of them were good for the first cut. So right now, issue number 1 is about 50% Brendan and about 50% the backers and everything. And hopefully by X-Crawl number 4, we'll get rid of Brendan entirely. And this entire thing will be crowdsourced from that point on, right? So maybe we'll let him have 5%. Maybe 95% backers and 5% Brendan, But as Brendan mentioned, we've got new DJ profiles in it. We have magical items. We have expanded deity disapproval tables, which are going to be in this one, and a little new class for those of you who are looking to expand on something. If the 10 classes that are in X-Crawl aren't enough for you, there is another one which is called the Dungeon Hottie. Brendan, would you like to, in 15 words or less, explain what the Dungeon Hottie is?
Dungeon Hottie, so hot, slightly underpowered but fun role-playing challenge. Everyone play X-Crawl Word Up. Boom.
There you go. So how can you go wrong? How can you go wrong with a dungeon hottie? Someone who knows how to use social media, someone who knows how to use the crowd, someone
Yep.
who can, who lives for the limelight, and a
Mhm.
lot of great opportunities. So
Yep, they aren't the toughest, they aren't the smartest, but they're a fun role-playing challenge for anyone who wants to really play into the celebrity aspect of X-Crawl. This would be a good starting point to do it. And I said like I said, they're intentionally underpowered until they hit their stride in the combat arena. But in the real world, watch out. They are a force to be reckoned with outside of the arena. So yeah, definitely check it out. I can't wait to hear about people's stories for running them and seeing how they affect your X-Crawl campaigns.
and that's just issue number 1. We've got a few more in the pike. So starting early next year, we're going to be working on issue number 2. So keep an eye on social media and all the rest of it. We will make an announcement when we are accepting submissions. Start brainstorming some ideas now that a good portion of people have the book in their hands, or at least I think everybody has the PDF now. So you can at least get some planning and look at it and start thinking, well, Brendan did a great job here, but he missed this, and we really need a Viking opera singer, monster in here or something like that. That's a freebie, I mean, we won't accept that one, but you can use that in your own game. And last but not least, because we are focusing on 2025, this year, as we discussed, we had Save X-Crawl for the first time, live in person in Indy in Lucas Oil Stadium. What better place to be running X-Crawl than an professional NFL stadium? We will be back in 2025 with yet another X-Crawl tournament because, hey, X-Crawl tournaments are perfect for exactly everything we're going for right now. We are in the process right now of designing what that is. It's still kind of planning stages, but I'm pretty sure, and Brendan, if you agree with me, people can expect fast-paced action, puzzling traps, and a fair amount of social satire as well, because it wouldn't be X-Crawl without those 3 factors. So
we can't help ourselves.
It comes natural to us. If you've seen Keep Crawling with Mike and Brendan, you know what kind of wiseacres we are anyway. So if you have never played a tournament before and you are, you've already been a little kind of like, I don't know, it's like, it's really hyper competitive and everything. It is, but the X-Crawl tournament is the perfect place to kind of dip your toes in the water. If you've never played X-Crawl before, I mean, what better way in front of the limelight? So we recommend you that you sign up for it. And if you're going to be in Indy, again, it's going to be a good time, and we will have more announcement of that in the weeks and months ahead. So, any final things about X-Crawl that you're excited for 2025?
Just a huge thanks to everyone who supported it and who's backed the Kickstarter and who have been pre-ordering it and are already sending me little reports about how their campaigns or adventures are going. You have my absolute eternal gratitude. X-Crawl has been my baby for years, and I love seeing it out there amongst all of you guys. Let X-Crawl classics ring through the hills.
All right. Well, I think that's enough. We want to get this rolling, so we're going to step out of here, and then we'll bring some other people on talking about some other cool stuff, which is coming down the pipe. Well,
Hi, everybody. We're back. Yes. All right. So we're going to give you all some updates on current crowdfunding. If you're watching this later on YouTube, it's all old news, so you can skip ahead. But if you're watching this right now, wondering where your book is, these are all the answers. We're kind of in an amazing time right now because we have a bunch of titles all fulfilling it sort of in sequence, one after the other. It's kind of astounding. So I have physical samples of a lot of cool stuff. So I'm going to walk you through some cool stuff. And then we're going to rely on Mike, Chris, and Matt to make insightful, keen comments as I flip through these items. So, so let's have some insightful, keen comments about Grim 2's traps. I have here the 5e edition, which is about, I want to say maybe 60-70% fulfilled as of right now. Ooh,
look at that. Hey, that looks like a trap.
It's a trap.
Right.
Oh, I know what trap that was. That was exploding spiders. Right?
Yep.
It might not be the technical name for it, but at least
So that one is shipping out right now to a whole bunch of backers, along with this, which is the DCC edition with amazing Will McCausland art. And Anyway, I'm not going to go through in detail, but these turned out great. I just want to show you they do really exist if you haven't gotten your copy yet. We're not relying on the Kickstarter updates. And there are lots and lots of packages flying out right now. In addition to these hardcovers, there's the 3 adventure modules to go with them.
It really did come out. I mean, we haven't. Some of us haven't even seen it in person yet. But you know, so we've been looking at it in 2 dimensions on a computer screen for months. So it's good to see. Good to see pages that actually turn and don't scroll.
Exactly. And believe it or not, backers, that is a testament to Gimme Games. We ship out the consumer copies, the backer copies, before Mike, Chris, and Matt. So.
In so many ways, we're at the end of the list.
So now, let's talk about the Purple Planet. This thing doesn't even fit because this is the slipcase. Actually, I'm just going to hold it up. This is the Monster Slipcase Edition, which is like 4 inches tall because it's got 4 hardcovers in it. This container is going to land any minute now, and so fulfillment will begin very soon. Let me see if I can get all these books out of here and actually show you these, because it is a lot of stuff. Here is Tome of Adventure number 1. This is technically a reprint, although it's been out of print for quite some time, so many of you may not have it. It's got a compilation of a whole bunch of early DCC modules, or DCC adventures that turned out great. And also, I don't know if you guys like to sniff glue, but I love the smell of a newly printed book. These still have that smell of, like, I don't know exactly what it is, if it's binding glue or ink, but man, they smell good. I love that smell.
I am partial to glue, but ink is my thing. Yeah, black coffee and printer's ink. I mean, come on. It doesn't get any better.
Wasn't that a song by, was it Squeeze in the 80s?
Good call.
Okay. Anyway, this is volume 2. More great DCC adventures compiled together with a new art by Doug, which turned out fantastic. Then we have the Lankmar edition, volume 3. We're working our way up to the Purple Planet proper, which is number 4. Another great Nin Gobble cover by Doug Kovacs. And this compiles a bunch of the DCC adventures from the Lankmar series together. And Mike, this is like the 2nd or 3rd time you've seen these, right? Because you were part of the original wave of Lankmar releases. And now I get to see them back in hardcover.
Yep. And that includes, actually, someone was just asking about that on Discord today. That includes Masks of Lankmar, which was the first official release before we had everything in there. So that's actually, it's so early, it doesn't even have a number.
And then we have the Purple Planet, volume 4. This has awesome look and feel to it. It turned out great. One of the most fun things is here, Matt over there, the art direction department, gets to decide about these awesome in sheets. The content is great, but there's often amazing art on the in sheets as well. Not often, always. And frankly, if you buy a Gimme Games book, look at the in sheets. They're amazing to look at with all the art. And then, of course, there's the interior as well. So this has, actually, Mike, do you want to talk about what's in here? It has so much great Purple Planet content.
I remember because there is so much stuff in there. So that contains the original box set, Peril on the Purple Planet, the adventure in there. It includes the expanded Purple Planet Compendium, which was additional monsters and also like locations and everything. Then we took the 3 digest-size adventures set on the Purple Planet. We've added those in there. We have Escape from the Purple Planet, which was the funnel, which was in the box set. That's in there. Then we had a new adventure which Harley wrote called Chessmen of the Purple Planet. That's in there. We had Invasion of the Purple Planet, which was originally published by our German translating team, and only appeared there in German in a zine, but we translated that back and put that in there. And then we oh god, I can't remember how the
glossography.
Right.
Glossography, yeah.
Yes. The first time that we had the Willy Wonka special when we released the box set, and we had like some of them had one sheaf, some of them had another. This is the first time they're all appearances in one place. So all that stuff. So everybody who's been trying to track them down for years, now we've rendered all of your efforts entirely futile. So thank you very much for all your hard work.
Yeah, it turned out great. And then, as if that weren't enough, I feel like what was that guy who used to sell stuff on late night TV? Ron, somebody.
Popeil.
Yeah, like, plus, there's more. This is the foil cover. Look at that sheen. Ooh, Ah,
That's foil-tastic.
foil-tastic. I think this is the first time we've done 3 shades of foil on one cover.
Mhm.
It turned out awesome. It's also got a deboss, which you can't really feel unless you fondle your cover, but you should definitely fondle your cover.
Do you fondle your cover before or after sniffing them? I just
It says best after the sniff.
It's a courtesy to do it on either side, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we got 3 shades of foil on both ends. Anyway, this turned out awesome. It's the limited edition version, which some of you got in the crowdfunding, and we printed a few extra if you want to pick one up after the fact at the online store once they're available. This fulfillment is starting very, very soon. The container is inbound, and I think fans will be very happy with it when they get it.
Light chance
Yeah.
Joe can see the shipping container from the window of the office.
Yeah, exactly. I get up every morning and stare off the cliff looking for it, you know? So-
You put a widow's walk on the roof of the Goodman Games office, you know.
Yeah. Smells like, what was that other song, Brandy or a Fine Girl? I feel like it should be like something related to like container, where are you? All right. Oh, container, where art thou? So this is the other really cool option we offered in that crowdfunding, which is a reprint of the classic, gold foil version, but there's a holographic gold foil here, which looks amazing because you can see it shimmer. You can't really see it in this resolution, but the foil just looks amazing. In addition, we'll see if this shows up or not. There is actually a snakeskin texture to the printing on this.
See it now. Yep. Now. Yep.
Yeah, we're getting really into textured printing around here. It turned out amazing. So this will also be fulfilling to those who backed it. Yeah, you can see it there with the rainbow, the foil, the reflection, and the texture all rolled up in the one. This edition looks awesome. So some backers added this limited edition cover, and then the other cover. So Errol Otis actually turned in this art. I feel like it's been a year or 2 ago. And I've been waiting for this. It looks so good. This is Errol Otis's first contribution to the DCC cover pantheon. There's also a little bit of a purple foil hit there. Doug did a new spine, which turned out great. This thing's too close to my camera. Anyway, so this will also be, for those of you who picked up this as an add-on, this will also be shipping soon with Purple Planet. Don't call me Shirley in the chat. I just rewatched Airplane with my kids. That movie is so good. It really stands up like 40 years later, even with 6-year-olds. All right. So next up, I'm going to tee up Chris here in a sec to talk about Dungeon Denizens. So let me grab my copies. So I just got these physical copies maybe 2 weeks ago. I feel like I just posted the Kickstarter update, and they are awesome. This is possibly our first full color book, definitely one of our first full color books. Color monster art on every single page. So I have in front of me all the editions, DCC, 5e, and limited edition cover and regular cover. But Chris, do you want to tell everybody what this is about?
Yeah, 550 plus monsters. Again, full color throughout. Just about every monster has an illustration in it. And this was truly a labor of love. This was the first time we attempted something like this. We've never done a monster book before. After many, many years of you saying you were never going to do a monster book, but we'll be honest with you, folks were asking for it. I mean, people were just, they were like, where's your monster book? It was almost this thing of like, you're at the booth and they were like, you don't have a monster book? Like, you guys aren't for real. It's like, you guys are dead to us. So it's like, so we had to do it. It was peer pressure. We had to do it. We cave into peer pressure when people ask us to do things like put foil on stuff and make crazy covers. So we do it and we have a lot of fun. So this was truly great. We had so much fun putting it together. This started back, we started actually the work on this back during the dark days of the pandemic, literally the dark days of the pandemic. So to finally see this, and actually to watch somebody else page through it is fascinating. And just, we're very, very excited. I mean, look at all that art. I mean, it's amazing to see it just pop off the page. And what you're looking at right there, that's the 5e version with the huge 5e stat boxes. So the DCC version looks a little different.
Yeah, it just goes on and on. There's so much art and so many pages. I want to say did we break 600 pages?
Yes. Well, one version. The
you're right.
Kickstarter version is over 600 pages. That includes the backer the 20 backer monsters. That did top 600 pages. I think we came in at 592 for the regular version. So that's a hefty book. Show that spine off. We love our spines and our slipcases here at Goodman Games. Show that. Look at that. Look how that is just again.
Yeah, look at my thumb.
Yes, we ask, somebody out there that legally can do this, try to put a bullet through that. Will a bullet go through that? Because we want to see that. That was Harley was always like, let's see if we can get a bullet through this sucker. So, but anyway, now I joke about that. Please, people, don't go shooting your books. That's not, although unless you want to shoot your book and then buy another one, we could totally do that.
Yeah, we fully support that.
Yeah.
Actually, stack up like 8 of them and see if that stops the bullet. If that doesn't work, try 12. You can order them both at the Goodman Games website.
Exactly. Yeah. So and make sure you make that a TikTok or something so all the kids can see it. So but what's really cool about the 5e version is we got to put all these awesome tables together at the back of the book. So we've got your monsters organized by challenge rating, by terrain, by type. So you can literally get in there and use the book a bunch of different ways. And we've decided to take the extra effort, and let me tell you, this will be extra effort. I don't think we've ever hyperlinked a book before that literally has thousands of hyperlinks in it, and it will have thousands of hyperlinks so that when you go back into those tables, if you find your favorite monster that happens to be on the CR3 table, click on it if you got your PDF, and it'll actually bring you to the entry. So that is going to be some mind-numbing work for somebody to do, but once it's all done, that is just going to make the book a lot easier to use, the PDF a lot easier to use. So we're hoping to get some really, really good feedback on that. So
it was a great idea. I think that was your idea, Chris. Maybe.
Yeah, well, I remember bringing it up,
idea.
saying like, "Wow, I don't know if I want to like heap all this extra work on somebody," but I'm like, "But no, it would be really cool." And it's like, and then we all agreed it would be cool. And then I probably have to send, a flower basket or something to whoever is the person who's going to have to do all those hyperlinks. So
I want to comment. Somebody comment. Yeah, now we just need a hyperlink version of the core rules as well.
Uh-oh.
Well, I think we have that. Don't we have that? Yeah. So if you don't have the current PDF, you should be able to log in to Drive-Thru or the Goodman Games website and download. There's always the most current one there in your account. But yeah, the current one is hyperlinked. Not as crazy as Chris said. I mean, there's no index of everything, but like the basic index is hyperlinked along with all the table references and so on.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. One more thing to throw out about this is that if you pledged for the crowdfunding, actually, let me say it this way. If you did not pledge from the crowdfunding and you're watching this later wishing you did, your book will stop at page 592. If you pledge for the crowdfunding, you actually get extra pages sewn in. This is called an extra signature. And these are the extra, I think it was 20 monsters, something like that, which were the bonus monsters for crowdfunding backers. So there are literally extra pages sewn in at the back for crowdfunding backers. There's a little sunburst on the cover that says Kickstarter edition if you happen to buy or happen to have pledged and get this version. And let me keep us moving here. We're going to run out of time, but we also have, is it that one enough? All right, all together now. Ooh. This is shiny, very shiny. 2 tones of foil. We already did 3 with the purple planet. I should have done these in reverse order because now it seems unimpressive.
Yeah, you need to describe the smell to us. We don't get the smell. So can you describe the smell to us?
Yeah, let me scratch it a little bit first.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Smells like dragon hide. This one, if we can get this into the camera here, we actually use a really cool scaled texture. This really is quite possibly one of the coolest books I've ever printed. It's debossed also, so it has a little bit of a texture to it in the height, and then you also have the texture of the scale and the 2 tones of foil. It turned out awesome. So there's a 5e logo here. This is the 5e foil edition. Also has the bonus pages. And just for those at home watching, the stickers we use have removable properties, so they do not leave a bunch of residue. So if you like it, you can leave it. If you don't like it, it comes off easily. So we have that version, and then also for the DCC side. Matt, do you want to tell them about Savage Sword of Conan and why we picked these colors?
Sure. Yeah, if you look back at Savage Sword of Conan covers, in general, you'll see a red, a yellow, some of these more primary shades, especially associated with Conan. But if there's an evil dude on the cover, invariably it's greens and purples and weird bluish silvers like on this one. So we all know I mean, I think everybody knows that 5e is good and DCC is evil, and we had to follow that color scheme when we got them printed.
It's common knowledge.
Yeah, everybody.
I think they teach that in second grade. It's coming up. All right, those are not awesome. And then we have here the DCC edition, which has this fantastic San Julian cover. I love how this turned out, and the vintage treatment around the edges. Mike, do you want to wax poetic about this one?
Yes, it's basically everything we just did, but DCC. That's it is literally it is actually slightly shorter because we didn't have the giant stat blocks that we had to, but it has all the same content. The only thing that we will find different is since in DCC land we don't worry about challenge ratings and like that, we used, instead of the challenge rating table at the back of it, we actually have if you are familiar with the DCC rule books, you know there's a couple of tables out there like how to make monsters even weirder. Well, we added those there as well. So if you want to, if you want to take your iron golem and give it strange powers, there's a table for that. And if you want to make things fey touched or diseased or whatever, there's all that. And we do because we love tables, there is some wandering monster random encounter tables as well, which uses monsters from both the core book and from that book as well. So whole bunch of stuff you can use. It is very useful. As you're devouring your characters, you can also roll some dice to see who's going to eat them next. So it is pretty awesome. Very happy the way it came together. And of course, it includes all the backer monsters that were submitted and accepted, except in DCC terms. No.
And there's so much stuff in this book. Every time I flip through it, I'm like, oh, I forgot about that monster. Like it flips to some page that I've completely forgot about because there's so much content. And of course, as Mike said, this one has the appendix of bonus monsters because this is the crowdfunding special edition. One last thing to show you before we move on, which is that as always, we do some additional titles to go with each of these projects that are shorter in nature. This one has the 2-page Dungeon Delves, which was an early experiment for us in trying to do a couple of things. First, it's dual statted, so 5e and DCC. Also another awesome Air Lotus cover. And also the format for these adventures is really cool. Each one is only 2-page, hence the title, 2-page Dungeon Delves. So there's a map, an illustration, and then all you need to play. Usually it's around, I'd say, 5 to 6 encounters for each one baked in. And the stats reference either Dungeon Denizens or Monster Manual / DCC core rulebook. But this format is great. It's super easy. I don't know, Mike and Chris, you want to talk more, but it's like a really easy way to play a short adventure.
Yeah, so basically it features, I think, something 60 some odd monsters from Dungeon Denizens. And we really approached it, the designers really approached it where they tried to find monsters that kind of worked well together and kind of made like a cohesive little story. And again, these are perfect for running at a convention or a one-shot or, a quick evening of play. And easily you can just pick them up and literally you read 2 pages, not even 2 pages because of the map and the art. And then you're off and going. You have the entire adventure there, everything that you need. So this is a popular format these days where people like things quick and concise and they want to get in, get out, and have a completed story. And that's the direction we're in. And these are set all over the place. They're all different levels. So there's definitely something in there for you, regardless of if your group is tromping through the Underdeep or hopping around through the plains or in the forest or in the city or whatever. So really coming nicely together. I believe there's 21 different delves in there.
Awesome. So that is the crowdfunding roundup. The fact that I'm showing you physical books is a good sign that these books are either fulfilling now or very close to fulfilling in various stages of clearing customs on a boat, etc. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, hopefully you've got yours by now. Check the Kickstarter page for additional updates. Now we're going to come back in just a sec and talk a little bit about Caverns of Thracia.
Hey.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, my name is Bolded. I'm the talking head on this one. All right. Yes, all right. We are now back, and we are going to talk about Caverns of Thracia, which is something that we have been talking a lot about lately. Well, actually, not lately. We talked about it a lot, and then we got really quiet, and now we're talking about it again because things are moving along. So updates have been going. So we're going to talk about some of this stuff which is still in the pipeline. And I think one of the things that you wonderful backers did for us is say, hey, you guys, there's clearly not enough content here. So you guys need to add some more adventures in the 11th hour. And we, being who we did, said, sure. So we are currently in the process of that. Chris and Matt, since you guys have been wrestling with that and I am here to move the conversation, let's talk about that. How are things coming? We done yet?
Are we done yet? So yes, the Alabaster Tower of Thracia by Scott Moore is in layout. So hopefully Matt's gonna nod and say yes, it's totally in layout and going on. And
Matt will nod and say yes.
yay, awesome. And I know I've seen some preliminary sketches of the cover art. So that's literally the last two pieces between that and Grave Robbers of Thracia, the DCC adventure. Those are the last two little bits that we were working on for this project. So the fact that those are almost over the finish line and basically getting ready for proofing is really excited because we understand that the rest of the products are moving along.
4 months. 4 months, folks. We're playing a long time between the time this thing edited and the things. This is all coming together now. So,
Yeah.
so we we learned a lot, and don't expect this all the time. But
but we're gonna try. We're gonna definitely try. I think it was 43 days between when the campaign ended and we had the first slug of books off to the printer. And of course, it sounds great off of the printer, but there's all this still back and forth that has to go on and everything between the spines, the covers, and the labels and all that. But that stuff is all the sooner that happens, the sooner all those things get worked out, the sooner that logistics start happening with, getting things on boats and everything. So if you folks realize when you were doing these projects, especially projects that have like 20 books or 10 books and everything, lots of moving parts, lots of minutia that goes on. And then, the sooner that we get started on all these things, the quicker we go. And it's our goal to keep moving forward on that, and as we do more and more crowdfunding, to be closer and closer and closer, so that I think Mike said he promised in another year or two that you'll get your book before we launch the crowdfunding next time, or not next time, but in a couple campaigns down the road. So that's going to be awesome, especially when we all have our time machines. So.
Right, because when I get the time machine, that's the first thing I'm going to do with it. I'm going to discover your crowdfunding thing before we launch them, right?
Me too. Yeah, Back to the Future would have had a completely different script if crowdfunding was a thing back in the day.
No, I believe we had. I can't see it on my end, but have we shown off the art at all? I mean,
I think we have to show the slipcase art still, right? We showed the Grave Robbers and Alabaster Tower, but let's show that slipcase art. Yeah.
Cool. And I know we even have the Grave Robbers of Thracia too. At least we had that's coming along too. So.
Yeah. Actually, Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit about this slipcase art that's showing up on the screen?
Sounds great. This is another Doug Kovacs original, and as you can see, he dug in a little bit to some of the opponents in Thracia, which including the Serpent Men, and there's Serpent Men, there's Minotaurs, there's I think that there's nobody. I mean, there's very few people who can take an underground scene like this one and add so much life and so much color to it that it's not murky, right? I think there's a lot of probably a special digitally created art that is just too dark to see the details. But Doug works with an actual paintbrush in his hand in his actual apartment, surrounded by an army of cats, and he works magic. And I love this cover. I can't wait to get a hold of it myself. As you can see, I have wreathed myself in it.
And this is the art that'll be on the slipcase, which was the add-on. So if you got the slipcase, you'll get this art. If you didn't get the slipcase, you'll probably wish it did because it turned out great.
True story.
So us being us is that we have delivered a boatload of Caverns of Thracia stuff, but and of course we have the 2 ones that we promised, which are coming along. We've mentioned, and let's just say we have not exactly been resting on our laurels as well. So I don't know if we're quite ready to say anything, but we can hint broadly that you may have not seen the last of Caverns of Thracia just yet. So there has been plotting, and there has been planning, and there has been scheduling and what have you. So So things are coming together. It's such a, obviously Janelle did such a great job on this, and if people have had a chance to explore Dark Tower, you know her work and you know what we can do with it when we've been entrusted with it. So we continue to keep that going with Caverns of Thracia. If you've enjoyed Dark Tower, I think you will enjoy Caverns of Thracia just as much, and in fact probably faster, because it is a lower level adventure. So you don't have to worry about building the party up until they can talk on Dark Tower. You can get them started right away, especially once we have, say, funnel adventures out, like Grave Robbers of Thracia and what have you. So it's been a good project, and very happy to have been part of it, and glad that it is moving along the way it has been.
Yeah, and actually that's worth, as Mike is hinting, sometimes we take a really exciting project and decide to revisit it in a future publication. So if you were a Dark Tower fan, if you didn't already pick up last year's yearbook, or I should say this year's yearbook, it's still technically 2024, yearbook number 11 has a new Dark Tower adventure in it, which you can run in accompaniment with the main Dark Tower slipcase set. And who knows, maybe we'll do something like that with other stuff down the road. But if you're looking for more Dark Tower, make sure you pick up this year's yearbook.
Yep.
Anything else Caverns of Thracia related, folks?
I think we've covered it. I think the next update for the backer kit, people will be excited because there'll be more stuff coming along. But we don't want to date ourselves, as we've been saying. So so if you're watching this in YouTube later, either immediately go to the backer kit page, or with any luck, go to your friendly local game store and buy it right on the shelf, because it'll be out there for sale. So.
And for those watching live, following this will be the Planet of the Cyclops opening ceremonies. And of course, we're running a little bit late. So if you want to see that, anyway, just stay on the channel. We might be a little late starting that, but it'll come right after this seminar. Now we're going to come back in just a sec to talk about something exciting that rhymes with Light Hawk. Be right back.
Before I get started on all this, I would like to introduce Mark Bruner to the stream right here. Mark, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been fun listening to all these announcements.
All right. I like your background there. That is definitely foreshadowing here. So so it is with my great pleasure to announce one of the next crowdfunding projects coming from Goodman Games in 2025 will finally be Castle Whiterock. And we were talking about it when nobody was listening. Literally since the Crypt of the Devil Lich crowdfunding, at least one person has always asked, hey, are we ever going to do Castle Whiterock? Are we ever going to do Castle Whiterock? Well, again, we already established earlier in the show that we do listen to the fans, and we do take notes and everything, and eventually we actually will put a plan into motion. So a few years ago, we decided, yes, we were going to do Castle Whiterock, and I've actually been playtesting the 5e side of it I've had some hiatuses this year because of my personal life, but for about 2 years, I've had a group that's actually been playtesting Castle Whiterock 5e version. I think we're going on to level 9 right now, if you're familiar with the product. And what's really kind of cool, this is not a typical playtest. I have 5 players, and collectively those 5 players have over 200 years of role-playing experience. So look out. You can't pull anything over on them. And it's honestly 5 against 1. And a lot of times I'm just, I crawl up into the fetal position afterwards because they schooled me. So, but it's been a great playtest because we're getting a lot of really good information. We're making some changes to it. And not only is there going to be a 5e version of Castle Whiterock, but there's going to be a DCC version of Castle Whiterock. And that is why Mark is on the stream with us today, because he has been heading up that effort. So Mark, if there's anything that you would like to share about the DCC version of Castle Whiterock, it's all you.
Yeah, no, it's been great. And thanks for inviting me on the project. I've also been running a campaign for the DCC side, just started this year. So they're only on level 3, but they're great players as well. So getting a lot of good information for that. And obviously one of the things we want to do with DCC is really taking the opportunity to expand it to some of the unique DCC rules and characteristics, like patron write-ups and new spells that'll be coming out. So we have a great team of writers on the DCC side, a lot of familiar names, people who've been really passionate about this project for a long time, like Daniel Bishop, Bob Brinkman. And so those folks they've done conversions before. They obviously have a lot of passion for DCC core rules, and we've been having a fun time just getting into the conversion process. This is a massive dungeon. I think in my kind of rough count of the original word count was about 400,000 words. Does that sound right, Chris?
Yeah, it was about 450,000 words and 750 pages of material. So
it's huge. Yeah,
The original. That's the one we're willing with right here. So.
Yeah, and it's 15 levels with 14 sub-levels, I think, and so each of them is going to get the treatment of actually being like its own adventure module, introductions, conclusion, but it's all linked together. This dungeon, one of the things that I've just had the pleasure of doing is just reading through all the material and seeing how the ecosystem of this dungeon really kind of plays with each other, and that you guys did a really fantastic job with the original version of it. And so there's going to be DCC characteristics we moving forward. We're also just really trying to honor the original adventures, and so it's a great opportunity and really excited about it.
Great. So we're going to post the link in the chat if it's not already been posted in there, which will bring you to the teaser page for Castle Whiterock. So if you are interested in everything Castle Whiterock, you're definitely going to want to go to that teaser page and sign up so that you'll get all of over the course of the rest of 2024 and 2025 before we launch. You'll get all the updated information on what we're doing, where we're at. And again, we're just really excited. Hopefully, again, I can't see on my screen. I've got too many screens and not showing it, but I assume that we're showing off the cover art at some point, which is kind of cool. San Julian, that is, if you compare it to the, what Mark has behind you, you can definitely see a new take on the same NPCs, and these are all NPCs that feature very prominently in the story or different parts of the story. So, and again, it is massive, but it's also set up kind of modular, like so that you can kind of pick and choose some different things. There's a lot of different ways in and out of the dungeon and all the different levels, so that if you want to start your group at like 6th level or 8th level, that you can do that. And we actually have some hints and suggestions on how to do that. So we're beyond excited. This has been a project that obviously has been near and dear to my heart for almost 20 years now. We were very excited. We actually rolled it out as our 5e organized play last year. So to do some additional play testing. So it was fascinating to see the feedback that the folks had playing it and having a good time enjoying it. So
hey, Chris, let me jump in a minute. Let's tell people what Castle Whiterock is. For those who maybe don't know the original or aren't familiar with it, it's a mega dungeon, right? With 15 dungeon levels.
Yep. 15 dungeon levels, 14 sub levels. There's an entire region that it's set in. There's an entire city that's designed with a poster map. There is the inside the city, you've got the Inn of the Slumbering Drake, which features prominently in the story, but it makes that perfect base of operations for your characters. It is the classic dungeon crawl where you basically have levels and levels and levels and levels, and then there's a big old dragon at the bottom. And that's basically it. But we interwoven stories into there, and we tried to. There are a few levels that seem like the same, but there are some very, very different levels in there. There's a submerged level. There's a fire level. There's you can go do some planar hopping into some different things. So it's not just, the same, oh, here's more rooms with orcs in them. You do get that. There is a little bit of that too. But we really, really strive to try to make them different. Like I said, the dungeon ecology, and kind of really mix it up. So
an iconic mega dungeon set basically in and under an iconic castle with lots of sort of classic monsters that are always fun to revisit, as well as a few new ones.
Oh yeah, lots of new ones.
Yeah,
lots of new ones
that's been part of the fun of writing too, is just seeing all the monsters that are not either in the core book or in the even in the dungeon denizens. There are a lot of those too, which is great because we're able to like leverage that and kind of cross promote. But there's just so many new ones, and we get the new take on everything that was in the original version too.
Yeah, and it's got a base of operations, right? So people or players and characters can dive into the dungeon, come back, rest up, refuel.
Yeah, exactly. And there's even
taking a dive in.
There's lots of hints of adventures that can happen in the nearby city and everything that kind of tie into the adventure. And us, we're not just going to leave it as is. We're going to add extra stuff to it too. So we've got that in the back of our mind as we've been doing all this, and as our folks have been converting the levels. We're taking notes and everything. So don't worry, there'll be even more material at the end of this. So
well, we tried putting a dragon in the first level, and that didn't work.
No, that's
No, nobody got to see the rest of the dungeon. So, yeah,
so, but there's more dragons than you think actually in this. There's more dragons than you think. So,
I don't know. I can think of a lot of dragons.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, there's two on the cover. There's two on the cover.
What?
So, yeah.
So actually, speaking of the cover, Matt, do you want to talk a little bit about that amazing art?
Sure. Yep. I would love to. It's as we mentioned, San Julian helped us out with this cover, and we had some requests. We didn't want to just copy what we've done before, although Will's cover was amazing for the first one. But we have, I think, like Chris said, kind of a modernized version of some of the NPCs and the important monsters from the first go round. And as you can see, there is indeed a castle. Those rocks maybe aren't as white as the title would suggest.
But they're dirty, right? Because it's like a really old castle.
I think that's probably the case. Yeah. It's been around. But if there's somebody who can take, 5 or 6 requests and turn them into an amazing image, one like solid image that is going to work great on the cover, it's St. Julian. So I was delighted to see this one come in. This is another time that my job is like Christmas, because I get an email saying, "Oh, hey, I sent you the cover," and I open it up and just like, it was amazing. So happy to continue working with him, and I'm really looking forward to digging into this one.
Awesome. And so we're telling everybody about this really early. This will crowdfund in mid to late 2025 as we sort of, finish up the project, of course, but also fulfill some older ones. No exact date yet, just sort of mid to late 2025. In the olden days, we wouldn't necessarily have announced this so soon, but I think a lot of fans keep asking about Castle Whiterock, so it made a lot of sense to let everybody know it's coming. In the chat, let's post it again, the link to the teaser page. So feel free to visit this page, click to follow. We'll be posting little updates to followers of the page as time goes on. So this is your chance to see other bits of art or, bits of design diaries as they trickle in. Mark, Chris, Mike, any closing words in Castle Whiterock?
I think we're good. I think that's where we're at.
It's going to be awesome.
All right.
All right. We'll be back in just a sec to talk about some more stuff. Hi, everybody. Joseph back here to talk a little bit about sustainability. So it occurred to me about a year ago that I publish books for a living, and who can tell me where books come from? Books come from trees. And what happens when you cut down trees? You destroy the planet. So I started thinking a while back about how we can publish books a little more sustainably. And that led us all to do some research. Actually, I think it was Chris who discovered the Forest Stewardship Council, which is an organization that certifies paper production for being environmentally friendly. You may be wondering, why am I telling you all this? The reason I'm telling you all this is that Goodman Games now prints with sustainably harvested paper. And we're one of only a couple companies in this industry to do this. So I'm telling you this first as consumers, as a public service announcement, so you can feel a little better about buying our books, but also for other publishers who may be watching this, so I can educate you on what we learned in ways that you too can participate in sustainably harvested book production. So the FSC is an organization that has a little logo that says FSC. If you go to your local grocery store and pick up like Kleenex or paper towels or really almost any paper product that's sold in mainstream America, and flip to the back, you will find the FSC logo. It's fairly common in sort of mass production. I'm going to hold this up, and probably should have done a handout because this won't come through. But on the back, oh, you know what? Elena's got the graphic. Awesome. Thank you, Elena. On the back of most Goodman Games products now, you will see this little logo that says FSC, and that certifies that the paper involved is environmentally responsible. So what does environmentally responsible paper means? If you guys have ever gone to a Christmas tree farm at Christmas, where they got like the little trees way in the back that are still growing, then they're all bigger up here in the foreground, and they chop down the big ones and slowly grow the new ones, and they just sort of keep on this cycle. That means our paper comes from places like that, not rainforests where indigenous people live. So the FSC certifies that the paper production is done in a way that is about as sustainable as possible without negatively impacting old growth forests, rainforests, indigenous peoples, things like that. It costs ever so slightly more, but it's affordable once you look into it and figure out the details. So you'll now find that FSC logo on almost every Goodman Games product. The reason I say almost every is because when it comes to, I'm going to show you this now. When it comes to a hardcover, this is actually the guts of a hardcover with no book inside. The way a hardcover is printed is you have what's called the board, and then you have what's called a litho label, and the litho label is glued onto the board. Each of these pieces can be produced in a environmentally sustainable way using FSC-based materials. However, when you make foil, believe it or not, this reptile hide does not come from a tree, nor does the foil. So when we make special projects like these foil covers, they actually cannot be certified as FSC, even though the text block, which is like all the pages inside, can be FSC certified paper. The overall book cannot get the certification because this part is not FSC certified, even though the board is, the faux leather is not. That's why in some cases you won't see the FSC logo specifically for foil-based or faux leather products. The interior will be certified, but the exterior is not, so it doesn't earn the certification. But 95% of the books we now publish are FSC certified, which does a great service towards making our production more sustainable. Now, one other thing to note, earlier we talked about sniffing books. In case you ever want to lick a Goodman Games book, you'll be satisfied to know that all of our ink is now vegetable-based. There's no specific flavor. It's not like you get a carrot or rutabaga. But the benefit of having vegetable-based ink is it is non-toxic. So I don't know who would throw our books in a landfill, and if you are that person, shame on you. But if our books ever were to get thrown in a landfill or put in a gutter or something like that, and the ink were to leak out, it's non-toxic, so the ink will not in any way negatively affect the groundwater. That's another change we've made towards vegetable-based inks, which are more sustainable in the long term. I suppose in 30 years or something, some of our books will end up in a landfill, and maybe this will really matter. I doubt it matters now. And technically, I haven't actually, I sniff my books regularly. I've not licked them lately, so maybe it does have a flavor. I don't know. But you guys, if you want to look our vegetable-based inks and let us know, just shoot us a note at info@goodman-games.com. Anyway, that is your update on FSC and sustainable paper. It's pretty exciting for me to now be in a position where I can wake up in the morning and say, hey, I didn't kill any trees this morning. Every book we printed was harvested sustainably. So that's it for FSC-based paper, your update for today. And we'll come back in a minute to talk about Terror from the Underdeep.
Hey, we're back. You guys have seen me, you know who I am, but to my virtual left, as usual on a Sunday night, when we're talking on Twitch, is my compatriot and my partner in crime, Rick. Rick, say hi to everybody.
How you doing, Chris? Tonight I'm actually below you, I think, instead of next to you. But
It's
you're
possible,
getting
yeah,
you're
the
getting
way-
to be
the
my
way
regular
Zoom thing-
cohort on these Twitch streams, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so that's why I said it's to my virtual left, because that means it could be anywhere.
There we go.
So, and we are going to talk about a little project that we've been working on only for the last few years called Terror from the Underdeep. This is our next crowdfunding project that is coming out very soon. And this is 5e only, so that's why you're just getting Rick and myself. And this is our tagline on this one is a giant box of adventure, because that is what it is. It is a huge box set. And it is got 6 different giant themed adventures crammed in there. And then on top of that, 3 more adventures set in the Underdeep, which is that vast caverns down below. Because of course, as we all know, the giants themselves, they might be the big bad guys, literally the big bad guys, but there's always a bigger fish.
There's always a bigger
that's
fish.
pulling the strings behind the scenes. So of course we've got that going on with this as well. So that is going to be exciting. We are working very hard to get this. We're looking at over 450 pages of content just for the box set. We're going to get to what some of the other things are as well. And hopefully you're seeing that wonderful William McCausland cover art right there. That kind of is a great encapsulation of everything that's going on with this. So a little bit different. This is for high level characters only. So this is kind of like Dark Tower. This is for levels 8 through 16. Definitely high level material here, but we have this sneaky feeling that the current industry is not really supporting high level play. So we wanted to do something about that. And who doesn't love giants? So so Rick, why don't you tell us a little bit about it? You've worked on this project quite a bit. Why don't you give me a thumbnail sketch to kind of share with the folks what this is all about?
Sure. I mean, this is a monumental work. There's so much included in this. We've got many giant types, many adventures, and you know, designing this myself, all my work on this, I think one of my guiding points was to keep things as modular as possible. So I'm happy to say that there's so much utility built into this that if you were to play it from end to end, right, I think we're looking at years, not months of play. But the wonderful thing that I really like about this is if you have the type of DM that wants to pull out part of it and use that, if they just want a stone giant adventure, if they just want a hill giant adventure, if they just want an underdark, underdeep adventure, they can pull that out and use that. There's so many other things that we've built into here for the DM. The Underdeep chapters that I've worked on, there's lots in there as far as wandering monster tables, right? We've got a lot of intro pieces talking about the under deep formations and things like that, and just a lot of wonderful stuff, a lot of DM tools that they can pull out. I think of one of the chapters that I worked on for the Underdeep that features a city ruin that's set underground, and it's just this Lovecraftian mysterious city. And I can't help but think that I'd love for somebody to run this from one end to the other, but easily a DM could simply take that city and pull it out and just plunk it into their Underdeep campaign, and they would have this really cool locale for their characters to romp around in. So that's the fun part about this, is not only that it's enormous and there's so much in here, but that we've really gone out of our way to build it in a way that's modular, where you can go from one adventure to the other, or take the adventures out of order, or use a certain amount, or not use the other part. Because some DMs, they don't like to take a book and run it cover to cover. They like to put their own stamp on it. So it's so flexible, and that's what I think of when I think of this. I'm so excited. This coming year, I think, makes 20 years I've been writing for Goodman Games, and I have to say, this is one of the projects I've been most excited to see when it actually will hit print.
Yeah, and all brand new. This is not a conversion
Totally
of any existing property. This is all brand new. We actually have 8 different writers have worked on this, so we had a different writer for each of the giant adventures, and I think that worked out really great because you get very different feels for those giant layers. Each one is completely different. Spoiler alert, 2 of them are not fixed locations and move around, so that's kind of cool. So again, you've got that utility of placing it wherever you need it in your campaign. And I think that really came out together. And then the hard part was then Rick and I taking all these different pieces and actually making a cohesive story. And linking them all together, because if you are crazy enough, and we know you are out there, we know there will be a lot of people out there that are going to take this as a challenge, and they're going to run it from beginning to end. We wanted that to be part of this project as well. But as you know well, when we do crowdfunding these days, it's not just the main project, it's all the other bits and pieces that we like to add on to it. And this one is no exception. So the very first thing that's exciting that we want to talk about this is miniatures. And it's kind of weird that we're talking about miniatures of giants, because they're not really miniatures.
They're not that many.
they're giant minis, which again, it's like jumbo shrimp. It doesn't make any sense. But we love it. So hopefully you're seeing the pictures of those right now. So we did minis back in the day, back in the metal days, I believe. And I'm not talking about rock and roll. I'm talking about minis and metal. But this is our latest foray. It's like, it's one of those things where like, let's do minis and let's figure that out, because there isn't a challenge that we're not willing to take on head on and try and figure it out and apply it to something. So there will be minis as part of this, as they will be an add-on to this adventure. Again, you don't necessarily need them, but who wouldn't want really
who doesn't want a good mini?
Who wouldn't? So also as part of this campaign, we've got 2 more compendiums of dungeon crawls. So these are lower level adventures and shorter adventures, and each one's going to have, I believe, 15 short adventures in there, probably that can play in 1 to 2 sessions. We're very excited about that. And then finally, we've got what we like to call some of the famous Goodman game adventures updated to 5e finally. Idols of the Rat King by Harley originally, which is great. Lost Vault of I can never say Zathasar Row by Mike Merles. You guys might have heard of a gentleman by Mike Merles who might have created the 5th edition of D&D or not. And then Sailors on the Starless Sea, the one that got it all started on the DCC RPG, finally converted to 5e. Sailors is probably the most requested conversion that we
Oh, yeah.
get, even over, I would say some of the TSR modules, without a doubt, folks wanted to see Sailors of the Starless Sea in a new version, and we're here for that. We're here for that. We're excited about it. You can see the new fresh artwork that we have for those. So we're very excited. Actually, Rick, you actually did the conversion of Lost Vault, correct?
I did. And I'm excited about these because I couldn't think of three better adventures, because I think, the Lost Vault, which was kind of written by Mike, maybe before people knew who Mike was, is sort of a lost classic that, I'm really glad that maybe a new generation or new folks can see that. And of course, I'm sure we've received so many requests for people who would just desperately would love to see a Sailors on the Starless Sea, 5e version. So seeing some of these come to 5e is really cool. And it was a lot of fun for me doing the translation work on that and really trying to take that language, and bring it, to modern gaming and to the 5e mindset.
Yeah, because you were part of those Wild West 3E days back then, so that was not an unfamiliar title to you. So, and then one of the more we're gonna leave you with a teaser here. So another thing that you're gonna get as part of this project is our very first playtest packet for a brand new. We're gonna call it like a rule system, core rules add-on. I'm not sure exactly what we're gonna call it. And we're gonna step away for a second, but then we're gonna be back to talk about that a little bit more. So stay tuned. And we're back, and it's the two same people again. So welcome back and everything. So we are pleased to announce today that part of the Terror from the Underdeep crowdfunding is going to be a playtest packet number 1. Ooh, foreshadowing. Number 1 of our new system that right now we're calling Advanced Advantage. This is our own. Think of it as our own in-house 5e rule system, I would say. So this is going to be we've not done something like this before, but as you know us well and good, we do write adventures quite a bit, and we specialize in really big adventures, but we've also played this game for a while, and we also tinker around with the designer part of it and everything. And there's always parts of any good board game, role-playing game, or whatever. Whenever you crack it open, and there's always things like, oh, I would have done that differently. I would have done that differently. So this is our opportunity to quote unquote do something differently. And Rick and I are going to be here to talk about Advanced Advantage a little bit. So do you want to get us started, Rick?
Yeah. So Chris, why don't we delve in deep right in the beginning? What would you say was the primary design philosophy behind Advanced Advantage?
So I think really when you look at 5e, the most evocative rule mechanism that jumps out is advantage and disadvantage, but we don't like to talk about disadvantage because that's no fun, although it is kind of fun for the game master. And we decided that wouldn't it be cool if you could take advantage and really lean into that and use it a lot more. I mean, right now in 5e, you do advantage, you roll 2 die 20s, you take the high or the low if you got disadvantage. And that's it. It's really just for ability checks, saving throws, and to hit rolls in that. So, but we figured, what if you could apply that to almost every die roll in the game? And really, I mean, it's exciting. First of all, it's exciting when you're rolling dice. So we do like that. So we figured, well, why not like really kind of lean into advantage, disadvantage, and make that a even bigger part of a rule system. So that's exactly what we did. And you're probably asking, how do we do that?
And honestly, I think when we're at the table playing, I think those are some of the most exciting moments, and when the players really get worked up is when they have advantage and they can bring that. So the idea of bringing that to more functions of the game is just great. Now, having play tested Advanced Advantage myself, I thought one of the cooler parts was the dice play. So maybe Del, what can you tell us? What can you, release about that?
So instead of rolling 2 dice and taking the higher number in this system, what we're doing is we're gonna bump you up and down to a higher a dice with, for advantage, a dice with more faces, basically, if you have advantage. And in addition to that, if you're familiar with the regular 5e, you can only get advantage once. You can't like stack advantage and like, you can't like get advantage 3 times and really have a great shot at doing something. But in this system, you can. And in this system, there will be a lot of opportunities where you can really add on and kind of stack those advantage systems to your favor. Or the game master might be able to stack them against you to your disfavor. So that's what we really wanted to do. We really wanted to kind of make it simple, make it clean, not do a bunch of extra math or something like that. Literally just, okay, you have advantage on it, you roll a bigger die. And we understand that most people are not going to have a bigger die bigger than a die 20. So part of the crowdfunding project, we're going to make available a die 24, which is going to be that next one in our dynamic dice line that you're going to be able to utilize. So you'll have that opportunity to get that die 24 and try it out. And even more specifically, we actually took the next step, and we actually have created ways with Terror, the Underdeep, to actually utilize that die 24. And we have a really fascinating one where, again, in the early stages of this, we kind of stumbled upon it. We're like, you know what? Giants should hit puny little humans a lot harder than normally than a regular orc would hit another human. So we said that sounds great. So we've got the rule, and again, if you don't want to use it for Terror of the Underdeep, you don't have to. But if you want to use it, roll a die 24 every time a giant tries to hit one of the player characters. So that's just one example of how we're going to use it. We're going to kind of weave it into some other parts too, in that play system. But again, it's going to be more of an add-on, not like a replacing thing.
And that's, I guess, a main point here is the fact that this is an add-on, and right, this will be modular as well, on that
yes,
a DM can find things they want to use. Because let's face it, I think we all like to house rule our own games in some way. Every DM I know has some sort of house rule, and we tend to like it. We tend to like if we have those extra tables or those, things we can expand out on and really enrich those, excitement points at the table where, you're getting extra dice or you're getting bigger dice. So here, the idea, what better way to instill terror at your table than to drop a D24 on the table, right?
Yes.
So,
especially if they've never seen one before. And
well, that's it. Just drop I can just see, like, you've confronted the hill giants and then you drop a big old D24 on the table, that will open your players' eyes. So $64,000 question, I guess. We're introducing this with Terror from the Underdeep, and will the players have, will our players have involvement in this system?
Exactly. So that's the whole deal. The backers are going to get this PDF and get an opportunity to actually provide feedback to us on what works, what doesn't work, and really shape it to come. And like I said, this is playtest packet number 1. We're not rolling this all out at once. We don't want to overwhelm folks. Baby steps, baby steps. So there's going to be 4 total of these in 2025. And each of our playtesting packets that we release are going to be tied into a specific die. And then that die will be available to you during the crowdfunding campaign. And then it'll kind of add on. And if you don't like this particular set of rules, don't use it. If you really like this one, but you don't like, number 3, then go for it. We're really looking to enhance 5e. We don't want to replace 5e. 5e is by far the most popular version of D&D ever. There's more people playing it than ever. It's mainstream. It's pop culture these days. So we're not trying to do it better than that because it's already a very fine system. We're trying to enhance it and add those little bits and pieces. If you ain't, like, we look at it this, if you ain't house ruling, you ain't playing. So think of this as a packet of different things that you could bring into your game or not bring into your game. Some people are going to love parts of it and not going to love other parts of it.
Yeah.
But that's the joy. The joy is
that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, discovering it and then finding what your players you'd like to use at the table and what they don't like to use. And I've already heard from my playtesters what they like and don't like. And they're like, oh, we don't want to do that. It's like, all right, fine. It's like, we're going to go play test this other part then. So we're really excited. But it's, at the end of the day, it's an enhancement to 5e. It's all about choices. 5e players love to have choices, to build that perfect character, to do different things. And that's what we're all about here, is to try and have choices and make it even more fun. Yeah, just beefing up the fun. Now, as far as the different packets, can you give any hints about the
what those
No,
packets might
but
cover.
maybe. But let's here's
You
here's
give them a
very
little
interesting.
tidbit. Give them a little
You
something.
know, our next, one of our crowdfundings, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, might have to do with monsters or something. There's a really good chance that it's going to have to do with monsters and how you can use this system to enhance playing monsters at your table net. So we're going to try and make them kind of themed to what we're doing for the best part, but for the most part, we're just trying to roll this out in pieces that are easy to digest and not to overwhelm people right off the bat and then you'd scare them and they go run off the hills. This is a really cool approach, and also give folks an opportunity to really give us feedback and try it out on their own and see if they like it. And we're hoping that everybody loves it. So
I think people will. What I've seen of it is super exciting, and I think when we get feedback from our players, it'll just make it even better.
Only going to make it better, which is the goal. Is we always want to make things better. When I'm working with writers and designers, I'm always looking for those ways to make it better. Like, this encounter is fine. It's a B encounter right now, but if we add this, and this, now it's an A. So it's like, that's what we always try to do. We're always try to add on and try and make things even cooler.
Yeah, just additional choices, and we can work some extra dice rolling in there. So much the better, because
everybody loves to roll dice.
We do love to roll dice.
So I think that's what we have for this little section here. So I think we are going to throw it back to a timeout, and then we'll be back in a second. Rick, thank you so much for coming on and
happy to join,
joining us for talking back and forth, and appreciate it.
All right.
Hey, we're back. Hey, what do you know about that?
Hello.
We're back.
And we are here to talk about...
Brendan, I think this is you, right?
Sure. Sure. We are here to talk about Road Crew and Organized Play program, which, of course, I am privileged to be the top of the pyramid on, and really excited to be your Road Crew War Chief and your Organized Play coordinator. So, so the details of the 2025 Road Crew are coming. They'll be announced soon. We have some, Jill, I understand we have some swag already ordered.
Yeah, the swag has started landing in the warehouse. So we have little bits and pieces trickling in that will eventually be rolled out to everybody in the Road Crew in 2025. First, I think let's show off this art, which I see on the screen here. It looks like the Road Crew 2025. What was the phrase they use at TS all the time? The gateway to adventure. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah.
I feel like exactly every TS ad for I don't know, most of the 80s said gateway to adventure, and we sort of took inspiration from that.
Absolutely. And it's a great art piece from Stefan Pogue that I just think is just fantastic.
Yeah. And yeah, so some of the swag is starting to land. One in particular, an item that stood out, we're going back to the classics and sort of the swag, like, pens, pencils, notepads, buttons, stickers, stuff like that. But Elena, let's show this one item that is just perfect for the Road Crew. This is our Road Crew bone pin, which is exactly what every DCC judge needs.
Yep, and the pen bone is connected to the
and then that's to the critical hit bone, right? I think.
There you go.
Yeah. And actually, Brendan, there might be some people watching who don't know what the Road Crew is. Maybe you could tell everybody what is the Road Crew?
Absolutely. So the Road Crew is a way for judges who run anything that we do here at Goodman Games. If you run DCC, MCC, any of our 5e adventures, X-Crawl, any of the things that we actually put out here, you take our games and you run them out there in public spots. You can do that at conventions or at your local game store or your local school game day. You go out there and you run those events for people out in the public, for new, let's call them all potential new friends. People are going to come to your games, sign up, and learn how to play any of the wonderful systems that we have and enjoy those. And you'll go out there, and by doing so, you will earn swag. You can also be a part of the Road Crew by doing games that are out in public in other ways, including if you have a podcast and you want to run any of our adventures, or a streaming game, or a continuing YouTube game. As long as those are out in front of the public, those will absolutely also count for road crew games. So you sign up through our events calendar. You go ahead and record your games on there, and then the more games you get, the more cool swag you are eligible for you and for your players. And you get to be a huge part of what we do here at Goodman Games. And there's always kind of neat. We're always coming up with new neat little perks for the road crew. We do contests. We do special swag items, T-shirts, the whole 9 yards. So you want to join up and be a part of our elite core of GMs who are out there doing it and making it happen and meeting new people in all kinds of crazy cool games.
And just to say it out loud, we know that some of you guys have noticed our events page is not working right now. We're actually in the middle of updating a lot of software behind the scenes in the website. So if you're on the road crew and submitting events right now, we hear your pain. That will be working. Actually, by the time hopefully somebody watches this on YouTube, it will already be working.
Yes.
But it will be working definitely by the new year. We're in the midst of fixing a bunch of stuff in the back end. So the general principle is if you run those games in public, tell us about them. We'll get you some cool swag.
Put new hamsters on the wheels and such.
Yeah, exactly. We had to upgrade to a guinea pig. The hamsters all tired out.
Got a lot of traffic going.
They're so cute. You just can't. Just can't help yourself.
Yeah.
So we've done some amazing things so far, and we look forward to doing more great road crew stuff with you guys in 2025. So if anyone has any specific questions, you can email me directly, brendan@goodman-games.com, and I'm always happy to kick things around for you with that. And even as I say that, I know I owe like 10 emails right now because a whole slew just came in, and I've been on the road. But I will get back to you, I promise. That's 11. Mike just sent me another one.
Where's my phone? That was it.
But send all those of my way, and it's going to be another amazing year for the road crew, and we're looking forward to having all of you guys come back and or join us for the first time ever as being a part of our amazing immortal road crew.
Brendan has simultaneously the best job in the world and the worst job in the world. We made him go to 3 cons in a row. He had to go game at RingCon, and he had to go game at LongCon. And this weekend he has to game at Planet of the Cyclops Con. So his gaming gets in the way of his emails, which I guess is a good problem to have. But if he has to reply to an email, it's probably because he's running a game somewhere.
Or traveling, or trying to feed myself, on the way to or on the way back from. There's been a lot of that as well. But it has been fantastic, and I've had a great time at local cons this year.
We need to get Loot the Body to do a cover of the Moverheads' "We Are the Road Crew" with alternate lyrics. There we go. That's it. All right. This is how this works, people. This is coming.
Yeah,
Yes.
Levi, you out there? You listening, Levi? Say something in the chat. Why aren't you done yet? That's a great idea, right? So I like to refer to road crew as disorganized play, because you can run whatever you want, wherever you want, however you want. As long as you do it in public or on a stream, you get free swag. But Brendan, I hear we have something coming along which is slightly more organized that we might even call organized play. Do you want to tell everybody about that?
Exactly. And Joe's exactly right. If you're running road crew, you can run whatever you want. You can run, as long as it's our systems, you can run homebrew, you can run our adventures, you could, the combinations are endless. However, we have a program coming up that's going to be actual organized play, and we're calling it our organized play program, which we're real proud of. Mike and I workshopped that for like a week, and horse ranks and titles, and finally organized play. We decided that was
We mean disorganized play was the original one that came up and shot down.
No, but this is actual organized play. So how is it different than the road crew? In this case, you'll be actually running our adventure. We will provide organized play judges with adventures to run at various conventions and things, and you'll run them. You'll be able to, as a judge, you'll be, or a GM, you will be a part of this amazing team of people who are going to bring organized play to life. But we are really trying to make an absolute best of breed organized play program. We've had a lot of people who have had a lot of experience with organized play for different different companies and different games and different settings, and we're trying to take all of that experience and polish it up, put our own Goodman Games spin on that, and make it better than absolutely ever. So that's what we're doing. That's what we are absolutely working on with your help. And to that end, can I go ahead and announce what our organized play programs are going to be for this year?
Let's do it. I think especially because Elena already showed the graphics.
No, it's fine. It's still,
even pretend you didn't see that. Listen to Brendan and close your eyes.
Just the chance to say it out loud is super exciting, man. So yes, this year's organized play is all going to take place in and around and on the way to Castle Whiterock. We could not be more excited to actually be a part of this and to make that part of our organized play thing. This way, all of the games that are going on this year are all going to have that. That's going to be the theme of it. So there'll be this one unifying flow through thing that everyone will be able to be a part of. That'll be Dungeon Crawl Classic side and 5e side. Both the sides of our organized play program, we're all going to be exploring Castle Whiterock. So by the end of this year, y'all going to be some Castle Whiterock experts. Along with myself. So really looking forward to that.
And just in case there's people out there who are not familiar with organized play, maybe you came in the DCC side and just know the road crew. I'm just going to say some stuff, and Brendan, Chris, Mike, you guys jump in to add on to this. But for organized play, you can play it at home. And if you do that, it does not count towards road crew swag. But you can do it in public, and then it counts towards road crew swag at all. So you can do organized play and road crew at the same time and get swag and use the adventures. And if you're playing organized play, Goodman Games will give you an adventure to play. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to buy it somewhere. We will provide a downloadable PDF. We're going to premiere each of these adventures at a convention of some kind. And after that, they'll be available on our website. And if I remember correctly, GaryCon is the first con we're premiering these at. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
That's exactly right. And our first two adventures that we're going to be premiering at GaryCon are going to be the Road to Castle Whiterock and the Shadow Path to Castle Whiterock. Which are going to be very exciting. And the Road to Castle Whiterock is actually going to be a DCC funnel that we will be premiering at GaryCon this year. I guess it'll be a first level adventure. The Shadow Path to Castle Whiterock will be a first level adventure for both DCC side and for 5e side. So it's going to be very, very exciting, and can't wait to share that with you guys. Let's say we are looking for judges to run organized play events at GaryCon. A few of you have already emailed me, which is fantastic, and I appreciate all that. But if you're going to GaryCon, and if you're interested in being a part of either the 5th edition side or the Dungeon Crawl Classic side of organized play, please send an email to info@goodman-games.com, and we will put you on our list, and you can join the ranks of the organized play Goodman Game elites. It's going to be amazing.
And remember, I mean, this is, we did a lot of play testing last year, and we have a lot of things in place, and we have some plans for the future and everything. But this is your chance also to get in on the ground floor. And, I mean, obviously, if we're willing to add new adventures to a backer kit, we're willing to listen to the fans. So if you're part of the judge or you're a player or anything, we're going to be asking for your feedback. You can tell us ways that we can improve this, things never to do again. So if you like world building, I mean, here's a chance to be part of building an entire program. So
absolutely, yeah. And to that end, we are looking for people to actually help us sort of guide, like looking for a brain trust to give us ideas about organized play. So if you have played organized play before, if you have ideas about organized play and you want to join that, we are putting together our first ever organized play advisory council. We're going to meet a couple times a year. We'll discuss organized play, and I'd love to have your feedback. So if you want to nominate someone, or you want to nominate yourself to be a part of the council, you can send those directly to me, Brendan@goodman-games.com, and we'll put together a little crew, and we'll meet and we'll talk about it, and that will help you guide this program that this is our baby. We want this to be amazing, so we want all the input we can from people who have experience with it, who know their organized play, and who really enjoy that style of play. I want to hear what you enjoy about it, what you hate about it, what you would change. We'll talk over every bit of that.
And if you are a player, what this gives you the ability to do is carry your character from game to game, even from con to con, even from event to event. Yeah. Jump in and tell them about it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So but he's exactly right. This is what organized play is. This will allow you to have a continuing character that you can take from adventure to adventure. Their abilities will improve, and they will or they'll get some horrific rotting disease and such, in which case that's a quest right there. But but you'll have continuing characters that you'll be able to bring from to show up at the table and say, hey, this is the second level organized play game. I got a guy ready for a second level. You join in and you can keep these continuing characters going on throughout several adventures, if not several campaigns.
And to answer the question in the chat, yes, there'll be a 5e path and a DCC path. Some of the adventures might be, of similar nature, and sometimes just due to the nature of the rules systems, there might be an adventure that drops for some con where the DCC side is actually quite different than the 5e side, or vice versa.
Exactamundo.
Yeah. And just to say it out loud, when Whiterock crowdfunds, Chris and Mike remind me, but if I remember correctly, the organized play adventures will be separate content from what's going to be in the Castle Whiterock box set. So those people who play in Castle Whiterock organized play are actually going to get exposure to adventures that won't necessarily be available to those who back the crowdfunding. Am I remembering that correctly, or did I just spill the beans and spoil the whole party?
No, partially.
Yeah. Cool. So we're excited about this.
Now it is.
Now,
That wasn't the plan before. It is now. So.
The plan just changed. No.
When we trialed organized play this year at let's see, what was it? Origins, Gary Con, Game Hole, and Gen Con, if I remember correctly, where we were in the games this year.
A little con in Indiana they had
And we got a ton of great feedback from players and judges. So everybody who participated this year, thank you for working with us to work through all the kinks of the program. We have a lot of great feedback, and we work on this year 0. We feel like year 1, which we want next year, will be a great place for gamers who come into our world from existing 5e backgrounds and are familiar with organized play as a way to approach gaming. And we're happy to now be able to offer you that here at Goodman Games, both on the 5e side and the DCC side. Cool. Anything else to talk about for organized play, guys?
We're looking forward to hearing from all of y'all, and for making this the very best of breed organized play program throughout RPGdom.
Yes, exactly. All right, so we'll come back in just a sec to talk about Gongfarmers Locals. Be right back.
Cool. And we're back. Thanks so much to everyone for sticking around with us. And now we are going to talk about a program that we're very, very proud of here at Goodman Games. And that is, of course, our Gongfarmers Local program. So one might ask the question, what is a Gongfarmers Local? Well,
what is a Gongfarmers Local?
Yeah, what is it?
I'm so glad you asked.
Thank you.
The Gongfarmers Local, this is a program where we are going to recognize you and your crew. This can be the group. That's right, you, Mr. Curtis, and you, Mr. Goodman, and the people that you play with. We're going to go ahead and, the original Shane Madjet was the original one who created a Gongfarmer group, and we were all like, "Oh, that is such a good idea." Basically, he gave a name to him and the people he gamed with. He gave them a local thing, like they were a union, and then started putting out flyers and things for them. And we were like, "Oh, we absolutely all want to do that." So that is what we do. This is a chance for you to register your crew, and make it an absolutely official thing. So how do you do it? It's so easy. You send us, there's a certificate that you fill out that you can get, downloaded from goodmangames.com. And you'll give us you want a name for your crew. You want to list who your GMs are and who your players are. Give us a little bit, pick out some art to go on your certificate, because you will get an official certificate that are amazing. Hey, you want Elena? Can we show some certificates? Well, because that's let's see them. Mm-hmm. I'm getting an advert for some movie with green people.
Ask them. They might be a local.
Yeah, they could be. They could be local Gongfarmers. They're Gongfarming Gar right now, even as we speak. So we will send you an absolutely official certificate that with all of your information on it and your art.
Suitable for framing. You always
suitable for framing.
You always have to say it's suitable for framing.
It absolutely is. You can frame these things right now in your own home.
We got to say these out loud. The 2-2 Polar players is what I'm seeing on my screen. I love this because the weirder frontiersman. So each local comes up with its own name. If I remember correctly, Brendan, we assigned the official charter number, but they came up with their own. Go ahead.
They pick their chapter number. We're keeping a separate list of when they added into it. So you'll actually have 2 numbers on your certificate, which is like because people, it was one of the things, like everyone wanted to be chapter 666, but like eventually we also had to give them ordinal numbers to say, well, they've been here since whenever. So the 2-2 parlor players. The Weird Frontiersmen. Yep, huge fans. Love.
Independent Order, the Unified Nightmen. Yeah, so you name your chapter. As Brendan said, you get a number. You can pick one of them, and we assign the other one. Originally, I thought we actually did a ton of clip art that we're going to give to people. The Starry Wisdom Cult. We're going to give to people clip art to put on it. But so many chapters actually came up with their own art. Either somebody drew it on the team or they commissioned it. And Brendan, the Lankmar Rugrats, I love reading these. Brendan, tell them where it's going to go. Like year 1 is just getting this program established, getting the certificates. What's the plan for next year?
So we were just getting started that year and putting our little toesies in the water to see how cool this is going to be. So going forward, we are going to create we're collecting zip codes. We don't want your exact address. We just want your zip code. We are going to create an interactive map so we can see where all y'all are all over the place. And this will allow you guys to come together. Maybe the 2-2 finds out they're near number 394. They want to get together for a night of gaming at their local or whatever it happens to be. But it'll be we're going to put together a super cool map that's going to have all that will allow the GFLs all to connect, and just that's going to be amazing. We're going to find new ways to recognize you guys and throw them some cool stuff. I'm pretty sure, Joe, cool stuff in the works.
We got some cool stuff in the works for sure. Cool stuff. Yes,
absolutely,
cool.
Absolutely, yeah. And again,
this map is just for friendly purposes only. Why don't you? Nobody looking at other Gongfarmers territories and planning invasions. Okay, we're not recognize usurping other territory. Okay.
Yeah, there shall be no beefing for turf. As we
Put your hands on your own gong. No going for the other gongs.
No, you know what? This is about like, this is about being a part of the group that is a part of the group. You know what I'm saying? So this is about like your little corner of Goodman Games fandom, being able to connect with other pieces of Goodman Games fandom. It'll be about being able to go to a new city and, find people who are there, who maybe can show you the ropes, tell you where the cool, the cool shops are, one of the great conventions, where do people play.
Perfect opportunity to find your other rebels and readers, sci-fi geeks, escape punks, daydreamers, and dungeon crawlers. Those other weird kids that didn't fit in. I don't know.
Exactly. And sort of cement what your little group is and say, this is us. This is our group that we put together, and to fly the flag. Sometimes it's good to fly the flag, and this is an opportunity for you guys to go, hey, this is our crew, and I'm proud of every one of these crazy people who I game with.
And I love how many awesome certificates we're scrolling through here. If I remember correctly, there's like 110 or 120 that have been officially recognized so far this year. It's a staggering number. But when it's awesome. They keep trickling in, and we keep Matt Robertson was kept very busy for quite some time putting all these certificates together. So it's been awesome.
Absolutely.
So if you're out there and you want to be recognized as a Gongfarmers Local, this is really, folks, just a casual process. You shoot us a note. We'll work out the details with you. All we're really trying to do is give groups kind of a unified way to organize themselves, and we will work on ways on our website to eventually recognize folks, put it on a simple map, like Brendan said. No confidential information revealed. Just put your zip code there. So other people, if they happen to be in the same city or the same neighborhood or same general region, they can reach out to you and maybe connect with you to do some gaming. And Brendan, tell them about, I know some of these clubs have taken it pretty far and gotten, club rooms, t-shirts, the whole bonanza.
Yeah, the people are putting together, like they've got their own individual swag. Some folks are working on a web page. It's not up yet, or I'd share it out there. But people are taking this opportunity to get out there, and pretty soon people are gonna have merch. I'm telling you, it's coming. So so get out there and put your logo out. Get someone to do you a cool logo. Get you to someone to do you a cool piece of art. One of the crews sent me a T-shirt. I should have worn it for tonight. I should have changed between segments. It's killing me. I can actually see it. It's like sitting right there. I should. But it's But yeah, it's a great way to go out there and recognize, hang your own banner, fly your own flag, and be a part of the Goodman Games extended crew.
And I got to say, part of me wants to do for like Gen Con next year, or maybe the year after, you all show up in your like Gongfarmers Local colors, like put it on your denim jacket, put it on your biker jacket, like maybe get a banner or a flag or a t-shirt, be cool to have like my term, which is totally not going to work, but the parade of Gongfarmers, wouldn't that be awesome? We need a better word for it, but everybody shows up and like, shows off their club allegiances. It could be really cool.
It would be like it'll be like that rally in the beginning of the Warriors. Can you dig it?
Yes, that's like Mike's favorite movie.
Respect. It's, I mean,
all right, so that's it for Gongfarmers Locals. We're going to come back in just a sec, and we got to keep this moving because we're running out of time. Sorry if you're into the Brandon of the Cyclops Con opening announcements or opening ceremonies. That will be coming soon, as soon as we're done here. But we'll come back in a couple secs to talk about Dungeon Denizens 2 coming back soon.
And we are back, and we are here to talk about something which people are like, why are you talking about this now? But at the top of the hour, however many hours ago that was, we showed off the wonderful end result of Dungeon Denizens. And because of the how much it was embraced, and we talked about why it was so embraced, we have decided, of course, that the natural thing to do would be a Dungeon Denizens 2. So we have been working on that. The not the launch page, but the we're going to launch page is now currently live. And if you look at the countdown on it, it's actually in triple digits. So so it sounds like we are people are like, why are they announcing this now? We're announcing it now because by the time things will go live, you will have a wonderful experience of what we provided with the first one, and we wanted to have a way to an avenue of communication with you and let you know what is in the
Actually, Mike, let's just jump in and tell them what this is going to be. It is an amazing book. Let's talk about what Dungeon Denizens 2 is.
Okay,
it's hundreds of monsters, full color. Tell us all about it.
All right, so it's going to be a wonderful book, full color, hundreds of monsters, everything. Well, no, it's actually, we learned a lot from what we did for the first dungeon. It is basically all of this, but the same in different ways. In Dungeon Denizens ones, we converted a lot of the existing monsters that we had through the history of Goodman games, stuff that hadn't been done before appeared on it. This is all new stuff. This is straight out of them, and we are going with monsters which are for lower level adventures. So we're the way for people to kind of really get going with new and interesting monsters. On the DCC side, this is like 0 to 2nd level. Chris, it's like 1 to 5 roughly on the 5e side.
Yep, for the 5e side. Yep.
Yeah, so it's basically everything that Joe showed off early is just going to be more of that. But I do want to stress is that although we were going for lower level monsters, you are not going to miss that we're going to have dragons, we're going to have giants, we're going to have undead, we're going to have all the classic monsters, and we're doing them that you can be used, and it's not just like it's like a baby worm dragon. It's like no, they're actual dragons. That you can deal with. As 0, 1st, 5th level characters and such. So Dungeon
Denizens 1 has been extremely well received by everybody who has been part of it in any way, whether it was the backers who originally backed it, the people who had a chance to submit additional monsters, all the positive comments we got when we showed off the samples of the book. Like, this is one of those projects that I think is really, we should have done. It was always my fault we didn't do a monster book, because I said, oh, people can just create their own monsters, but there's so much interest in monsters, and it's one of those, everybody always wants another monster book. And so there's been constant requests for it over the years, and we're now answering that request by giving even more monsters. You can't have enough monsters. We all know that. We all own so many monster manuals from one source or another, and now we're happy to give you another Goodman Games monster manual that goes beyond dungeons. It obviously has a lot of dungeon monsters, but also covers, forest, grassland, sky, all the other environments as well.
And we learned so much during the first one is that we were doing this much more efficiently. So we are much less stressed. On the DCC side right now, I think all the DCC monsters have either been edited or currently edited, and we're in the process of converting the 5e stuff. And I think it's the same thing on the other side. So although we're in triple digits, we're we learned a lot the first time around. So speeding along. So it's going to be awesome. The idea is to get this to you so you can start using it as soon as we possibly can. So you actually might be waiting for it almost longer than for the launcher to actually launch, and you'll forget to actually deliver. Don't quote me on that. This is marketing so
Matt, maybe tell us about the cover art. There's a San Julian cover and a Doug Kovacs cover, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that is exactly correct. One for DCC, one for 5e, and they both are amazing and feature a variety of monsters that will be inside these books. And I think, side note, in addition to those awesome covers, I wanted to say that Mike mentioned that these are lower level monsters, right? That you can take advantage of and use a little sooner in your campaigns. That does not mean that they are not horrific. I have seen some things come through, some descriptions of monsters, and eventually art from people like Brad McDevitt and Will, who, I mean, the monster art that we're seeing so far is amazing and will creep people out. So just because they're not 10th level doesn't mean they're not going to be fearsome adversaries for sure.
Yep. It's almost as if we have a lot of experience terrifying people with, so, some of us are parents. So, I mean, so we're used to terrifying people, right?
And some of us have parents. So
exactly.
I'm a vat baby. I don't know about you guys. But that umbilical cord.
And yes, I did see the question in the chat. Yes, like last time when we're doing the crowdfunding farming, we will be accepting backer monsters as well. That's the plan on it right now. So so you budding game designers, start thinking now. Level monsters, so.
And several of the backers that contributed to Dungeon Denizens 1, they got one monster in. They actually participated and created several monsters this go around. So you can see that's, if there's something there and you're really interested in trying to get in, this is an opportunity to get in, and really be part of the community and participate in a really cool project. So welcome on board.
And there was a very positive reaction when we showed off the 2-page dungeon delves for Dungeon Denizens 1s. I think it's a pretty safe bet that we'll probably be 2-page dungeon delves for this one as well. So, all with more. Yep.
Yeah, there was I honestly think maybe we should allow more than 20 backer submissions. There were so many amazing ideas. We couldn't fit them all in from the backers. So maybe we up it to 21 this time. No, I'm kidding. 30 or 40 or something. Give more people a chance to get in.
Maybe we base it on how much it funds, so the more people the more monsters they get. So So if you really want the opportunity, I say Christmas presents for 2026 or 2027, whatever we're getting. Buy one for your family.
And I think when people get their Dungeon Denizens 1 in the mail, which is going to be soon, like this book turned out so good. It gets me really excited to see what we do with number 2. The book's amazing. And I think you'll all be very happy with Dungeon Denizens 2 as well, which is still, mid to late 2025 crowdfunding, but we're starting to think about it and work on it.
Yep.
Cool. All right. I think we're going to jump out for a second. We'll be back in a moment to talk a last couple updates and then recap the show. Hey, everybody. We're back. We've covered a tremendous amount of new stuff to talk about on this show. Lots of announcements for where we're going to go in 2025. Wait, what is that, Brendan? What did you change shirts?
You're muted, Brendan, so no matter what you said.
And that's how I did it. This is my official Obladra shirt from the Obladra Guild out of Chicago. It was they're one of the great Gong Farmer groups. I was gonna I had them vote. I'll mention all their names. There's like 100 of them, so I'm not gonna do that. But hey, Morgan, George, Ryan, Catchell, thanks so much. And there's a zillion more, and I owe you guys big ups. But thank you for all for being part of the Gong Farmer initiative and for being awesome and for sending me this killer shirt that I wear all the time. So thank you.
And I love the pride in their Gongfarmers Local where they're making shirts, forming a real club. Like that's exactly what we want to encourage. Yeah. Really, what this is all about is free shirts for Brendan. So keep making shirts and mailing them to Brendan.
That's the whole point of this. I can't buy shirts anymore for myself because my weight keeps fluctuating so much. Just keep sending me no, I'm kidding. A variety of shirts. No, I'm playing.
So here are some announcements about other ways to form and maintain your community of Goodman Games enthusiasts next year. First, we already talked about, of course, Road Crew organized play in the Gongfarmers Locals. We are once again going to do DCC Day. So mark your calendar for DCC Day 2025. It'll happen in July as usual. We were planning several awesome things. So as you all know, what DCC Day is you go to your local participating game store and get free and exclusive product in that store that is not available online or through any other channels. It's a way to support your local gaming store and a way to also get really cool stuff. We always ensure there's at least one freebie, and we always ensure there's at least one, usually several exclusive items that you can't get elsewhere. So Elena, I think we have maybe some imagery we want to show off here. And we are going to be offering this year the 7th Thrall of Sezarkhan. Mike, do you want to tell them a little bit about this?
Yes, the 7th Thrall of Sezarkhan is an adventure about it's a zero level funnel written by Harley Stroh, so you know it's going to be good. And you basically find yourself in a situation where the wizard you work for has been abducted by nefarious dudes, and you and the rest of the people have to pile up and go to Castle Near. And Castle Near is it's traditional Harley Stroh, all sorts of crazy lich monsters and dragon riders, and it is absolutely amazing. I read it and I immediately wanted to run it and kick off a new campaign. So you will not be disappointed with it whatsoever. No. Of course, Big says there is hints of his presence. Otherwise, it would be called the 7th Thrall of Sezarkhan. So it's going to be a fun one. Been looking forward to this one. Been sitting on this one, waiting for the perfect time. And this is the stars are right, because Joe is about to tell you something else, I believe.
Yes. So there's the color cover edition of DCC 108, the 7th Thrall of Sezarkhan, which will be available in stores. Then, as we showed you, there's the foil version, which will be exclusive to DCC Day. So visit your local participating retailer. And then, as if that weren't enough, there will also be the foil edition of the DCC core rulebook. So those of you who are around for DCC Day #1 many years ago, I think it was 6 years ago, we offered an exclusive cover with the Angry Hue cover art, as we called it. I believe this is the first time we're coming back to exclusive covers for the DCC core rulebook for DCC Day, but this will be printed in a kind of a bronze coppery foil that matches the foil on DCC 108, also available on DCC Day. So mark your calendar, July 19th, 2025. That's the day to go to your local game store and pick these up, as well as some other cool stuff. This past year in 2024, we had a number of independent DCC publishers participate, and some of them have already signed up for next year. So in addition to Goodman Games titles, including these, plus our traditional adventure pack and a new adventure standalone adventure module, there will also be several indie RPG publishers participating. And if you are an indie DCC publisher who wants to participate, shoot us an email at info@goodman-games.com and we'll give you all the details. But it is an awesome way for everybody who's a fan to go to your local store, give the store some love, and support a really cool event and get some free and exclusive product.
And if your store doesn't currently support, you have plenty of time. We have a date, so you just tell them no to send it to contact Goodman Games, and we'll help hook them up. So yeah,
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't announce the signups for stores until several months from now, but we maintain a mailing list. So if they contact us, we'll make sure they're informed when the sign up is live.
Start proving to them there's an audience for it, because we can't make your store do it, but you can.
And
last sorry, go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead.
And if your road crew, DCC Day is a perfect day to get out there and run the new adventure. Yeah. You'll be able to get a PDF of the adventure beforehand by going through your individual stores. So you'll be ready to run it when the game comes. So you'll be the coolest kid on the block again. So sign up, and it's a great day. I will once again be running this year's adventure at the Crazy Book Lady in Ackworth, Georgia. So
that's a great reminder. We broke, I believe we broke 150 stores. I think it was a year or two ago. I want to say we were at or past 200 stores participating last year on multiple continents, but there can always be more. So talk to your local game store if they don't participate. And yes, to answer the question in the chat, yes, there is a date for DCC Day 2025. It is July 19th, 2025. So mark your calendar. Now, continuing on to exciting stuff coming next year to help continue to build community and give you a chance to meet and hang out with your fellow gamers. Brendan, I heard there's going to be a convention.
Why, yes, Joseph, there is. In fact, it's going to be our first ever live convention, and we're here announcing it for the very first time here, a face-to-face convention, completely sponsored and put on by Goodman Games. Ladies and gentlemen, Dungeon Con!
You can remember the name of who was putting it on.
Dungeon Con! So Dungeon Con 1 is Saturday, May 3rd, 2025. It will be held in what we call the Fortress of the Chaos Lords. Other people call that our warehouse. And we are very excited to sign up for liability insurance and welcome you all in. So what we will be doing is a combination of a warehouse sale and a full-fledged game convention. Technically, we're calling it a mini con because it's only one day. We're going to dip our toe in the water, learn a few things, make it, 2, 3, 4 days as time goes on. But year one is going to be our very first in-person physical con. Brendan, tell them about the games and the judges and all that stuff.
So the judges are all going to be basically the DCC and 5e. The Goodman Games big kids will all be there running games. I'm going to be there. I don't want to throw too many names out there, but let's just say that there will be you'll be happy for the people you'll be able to play with. It's going to be very limited to a very exclusive, awesome day of gaming. So if you can make it, I can't recommend it more highly.
Yeah, so it's going to be in Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is where our warehouse is located. It'll be on that Saturday, May 3rd. We'll announce sign-up details later, probably after the new year. What I'm going to do right now is post into the chat the tabletop events page. So feel free to just bookmark this page, and Dungeon Con 1 will come your way, and we'll be posting more details as time goes on. But Dungeon Con 1 will... it's going to be awesome. We actually walked the warehouse, whenever that was, a couple of months ago when we were all there, and talked about, we can totally fit a table here. We can totally fit a table there. All the places we can fit gaming tables in between all the pallets of product. So, while you're there, you can pack a few Kickstarter pledges. We'll see all the help we can get. Yeah. But you'll be gaming. It's literally inside the warehouse. So not only is there an opportunity to meet, as Brendan said, all the big kids, we'll all be there hanging out and gaming. There will also be a chance probably to have dinner with us. We're working out the details, but we're planning to have, kind of a catered meal that everybody can take part in. I mean, I want it to be a real sort of fun exercise for the community to all just hang out together. We do happen to own pinball machines, as some of you know from Gen Con 2023. So we may hook up the pinball machine somewhere in the back if we can get them sorted out. We do happen to have a wizard van parked in the warehouse. So if we can get things going, we'll be running games out of the back of the van. And, in the warehouse, it's actually fascinating because there is always really cool stuff that is not available anywhere else. We get in, I call them warehouse finds. We unpack a box and there's something on the bottom that we forgot about from 2 Gen Cons ago, and now it's the last copy left of something. There's always these sort of unique and one-off items. So we will be pulling out all that stuff that we don't really ever have a chance to bring to the cons or put on the website. We have a pile that we call the damages pile. We'll get distributors and retailers who return stuff because it got a bent corner or a scratch or something like that. Half the time, I think consumers wouldn't even notice it. But we pull out the damages file. So if you're a value shopper, you'll be able to get some of the stuff that's a little dinged up for great prices. We have random translations. We get samples of the stuff published in Portuguese or Spanish or Italian or French or German. So if you always wanted to get a French copy of Sailors on the Starless Sea, actually, you can get that one on our website too. But there's a lot of sort of hard to find translations and rare stuff. T-shirts. Would you mind?
Say plus que parfait.
Plus que parfait. Yeah, totally. And burrito, escargot, all that stuff. Yeah, you can also get all the t-shirts, the t-shirt sizing. There's always a t-shirt in another size that we never got around to putting on the website. So you can go through all the t-shirts and check out the sizing for yourself. Like everything we have will be available for sale at the warehouse.
And the non-zero chance you can go skateboarding with Harley Stroh. He doesn't know that yet. I'm just volunteering him. So.
Yeah, exactly. Although we're gonna make you sign all sorts of waivers. If you break your arm, it's on you. Or on Harley, I guess. We'll make the waiver say it's on Harley. But yeah. So it's going to be awesome. More details to come, but mark your calendar, not just for July 19th for DCC Day, but also for Saturday, May 3rd, 2025 next year for our first in-person con. And, as Brendan said, there's not going to be that many tickets available for the gaming, partly because it's only one day, partly because we're going to squeeze in as many tables as we can, but it is a fully functioning warehouse, and we also have to allow for the fact that we need to ship orders. But if things go well, we will add additional days and add additional space as the years go on. But this first year will be really special because it really will be the first year ever. Not that many anybody can come for the warehouse sale, but not that many chances to actually play at the tables. And as you can see from the image displayed on your screen, Doug Kovacs has done the art for what will be the program guide. It's awesome. It shows the Fortress of the Chaos Lords. And Stefan Pogue, if you go to the tabletop events page, has done some amazing art for what will be what we're calling the con logo for Dungeon Con. It's going to be awesome.
It may be so awesome. It may be the only Dungeon Con. So, so you won't have to want to show up the first year,
Yeah, and great pay. Yeah, in terms of extra after hours gaming, I actually feel like I was talking to somebody recently. I've been picking the brains of people who run cons just to learn more about it. And one of the folks was telling me, people always get there the night before and do after hours gaming anyway, the night before the main con. So he basically started officially organizing con gaming starting at I think it was 7 p.m. the night before because everybody's there anyway. So who knows? Maybe we'll have a semi-official designated spot to go for your pre-con gaming. And just to say it out loud, this is not just DCC. Chris will be there as well, running 5e games and other 5e folks. It'll evolve over time as we sort of layer on more judges over time. But the goal is to offer something for the entire pantheon of Goodman Games fans. Anything else we forgot to say about Dungeon Con?
Nope.
Just that we're thrilled out of our minds and can't wait to see you guys face to face.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So then the next thing to talk about. Last year, some of you know that we did an Indie RPG Creator Summit. It was kind of amazing. We had so many people there, 3 packed days of seminars. We're going to do something similar next year, but we're narrowing the scope a bit. We're going to have the Indie DCC Creator Summit. We're planning it for March 14th, 2025. Save that date. This one will be smaller than what we did last year. It's going to be 1 day, probably roughly 8 hours of seminars, and things that are of great use to indie DCC creators. So we sent up a poll not long ago to get their feedback and possible topics. The focus will be on what I'll call product creation, inspiration and ideas for coming up with really awesome products, then actually technical skills for putting them together and bringing them to the marketplace. It's kind of amazing how the DCC creator community has evolved. We keep a loose count of the Kickstarters and backer kit crowdfunding projects that are going at any given time for DCC, MCC, XCC related stuff. We broke 200 indie DCC crowdfundings. I want to say a month or two ago. We're up to 218, 219, something like that now. It is incredible how many crowdfundings have happened among the indie DCC community. If you go to our website right now, I want to say there's 3 or 4 live right now. It's incredible. So the community is vibrant and strong. There's so many amazing ideas that come out of it. And what we can do to offer you guys a little bit of assistance is bring you together, give you a chance to get to know each other, give you a chance to get to know us a little bit, and share some of the things that inspire us and that might inspire you. So mark that calendar for March 14th of next year. This will be Zoom-based webinars. If you sign up, if I remember correctly, it's going to be $20 to sign up, and you'll have a chance to attend it live and then get access to all the recordings afterwards. And hopefully it gives you lots of ideas for inspiring new content that you'll create on your own, and down the road, something exciting that you can, publish, crowdfund, sell in our online store, sell at a con, all of the above. Mike, Brendan, Chris, anything you guys want to add to that?
Nope. I think you summed it up nicely. No.
You nailed it.
Okay. Yep. Okay. And then Chris had a chance to chat with you guys earlier with Rick about Advanced Advantage, which is, in really broad terms.
Chris isn't part of this right now.
Oh, that's right. Chris isn't part of this. Sorry. Chris is not here. But I'm going to say this anyway. We talked about Advanced Advantage, which is our 5e house rules, for lack of a better word, which we'll be playtesting over the course of several crowdfundings in the following year. Just to say it out loud, we've talked a little bit about the prospect of including indie creators in Advanced Advantage as that progresses, as a way for indie creators to take advantage of certain commitments by certain companies to put a lot of stuff in the Creative Commons, and then have the ability for us to support that as well. So that's still sort of something we're thinking about. But if you have input in that, and you're a fan and you're a creator and you want to take part, shoot us a note and we'll see what we can do. So the last topic for this sort of roundup session, conventions, physical in-person conventions. We talked about, our first in-person convention. Of course, Planet of the Cyclops Con is our online con that's starting any minute now when we get to the opening ceremonies. But also, just to say it, Goodman Games has con reps who attend many, many cons each year. It is crazy how many cons we now attend. It was over 50 this year when you factor in all the consumer cons, all the trade shows. It's incredible. 50 cons this year. I forget the exact count, 51, 52, something like that. And we're looking at adding certain regions next year. So we have really good coverage right now in the Midwest, in Texas, in the Northeast. There's certain places, Southern California, Northern California, there's certain places where we have reps and they're able to hit 3, 4, 5, 8, 9 cons a year in their local area. But there's certain regions we don't have reps. So we will be looking for additional con reps. If you happen to live in the Pacific Northwest, The Southeast, sort of in and around Atlanta, or Colorado, where there's still several vibrant cons that are unfortunately surrounded by mountains and hard to get to unless you live in Colorado. We are going to be looking for con reps for those areas. So feel free to shoot us a note at info@goodman-games.com if you're interested, or down the road, we'll post an official help wanted on the website. Some of the requirements for this, obviously you need to have a vehicle and storage space, because half the job is driving piles of boxes full of Goodman Games products to a convention and then selling them there. And you gotta love going to cons. I mean, a big part of this, there's a lot of people who love the con lifestyle. Brendan, I think you're probably one of those, but people
absolutely. But there's a real
Yeah.
art to work in the booth, and the people who can do it are amazing to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's who we're looking for. You amazing types.
Yeah, exactly. People who enjoy going to cons, enjoy the con lifestyle, enjoy the after hours game, and enjoy the social scene, and have that knack for working the booth, sharing your enthusiasm and excitement for our products with other fans. If you have the logistics capability in terms of having the space and a vehicle and want to earn money, it is a paid position. And especially if you're already going to some of these cons that are local to you in the Pacific Northwest, the Southeast, or Colorado, shoot us a note and we'll get you hooked up. So I think that's it for the sort of save the date type stuff and upcoming announcements. And now we'll be back in just a sec for kind of a final Q&A and closing statements. And the mysterious Chris, who we referenced, will actually be on that screen. Hey, everybody, we're back.
We're back. Yeah.
We're not tired at all. We talked about a few things.
It's like
I think
a
we just
Phineas
announced-
Award ceremony.
Yeah, I know. 2 more hours to go. So I think we announced almost everything we have coming for 2025. There's actually one other really big crowdfunding that we're waiting for the final bits and pieces to slide into place. So we'll be announcing that later. But we just gave you 3 of our 4 crowdfundings for next year, several cons, several events, road crew, organized play, Gongfarmers Locals, whatever else I forgot. So much stuff. So last couple minutes here. This is your chance, if you're in the chat, to ask us questions, to, comment on our hairstyles,
Or lack of hair.
or lack of hair. Yes. suggest new shirts for Brendan, whatever else you want to talk about. So we're here for you guys for the last 5 or 10 minutes. Happy to answer any questions or anything else you may have. Somebody asked about what the hotel will be for Dungeon Con. You know what? I actually booked our rooms already at the what is it called? It's that Marriott. I think it might actually be the Marriott. Marriott has so many like sub chains, but it's whatever the Marriott affiliated chain is across from the Grand Wayne Center in downtown Fort Wayne. So I don't know if they have any rooms or not, but there's also a Hilton right near the Fort Wayne Grand Wayne Center. But as we get closer, we'll share those details about what the hotel choices will be.
Dungeon Con 2, the Madonna Inn.
Oh, don't
That place
tease.
is awesome.
Get my new road picture.
Yeah. If you go to the Madonna Inn, Google it. It's in Southern California. It's a hotel where every room is literally themed and completely different. So there's like oh my God, just go to Madonna Inn and look at all the room selections. It's incredible. There's like water wheels and caves and real stone and velour. It's amazing.
San Francisco room for the win. Yeah.
Yeah. The best Hoosier sandwich, Elric. There's not Elric coming. Just in case anybody's wondering. No Elric. VTT maps and tokens. Yes, we're going to be adding VTT maps and tokens. Let me say it this way. We're going to be commissioning art in a way that'll let us turn the art into VTT maps and tokens for a lot of projects. So over time, you'll see more details on that, but we are thinking ahead to VTT. Will more adventures be coming out for Roll20? Yes, we're kind of just sort of seeing the reception for the first round so far, but things we've thought about are Mutant Crawl Classics for Roll20, since DCC and MCC share obviously common DNA and a lot of common mechanics, and additional DCC adventures as well. Let's see. Best sandwich is the tenderloin. Good to know. There's also, what was that place where there's a taco place in Fort Wayne that has, one of their selections is Conan the Barbacoa, which is my favorite taco ever.
What was that place
What was
called?
that place called? It was actually technically, I think, a brewery. They just happened to have a really great taco. What was that place called?
The Hoppy Gnome.
The Hoppy Gnome. That was it. Yes. So if you're in Fort Wayne, go to the Hoppy Gnome. They have many fine qualities, but mostly they have Conan the Barbacoa.
It sounds like there needs to be a game at the Hoppy Gnome. I mean, is what it sounds.
You know,
Yeah.
Trying to stop me, you know. Oh, Hobbyland was so great. I think I went there like 4 times over the 3 days we were there last time. Like, not kidding. We really did that. So
Hey, that
It was
math
a lot.
doesn't work.
so good.
Radiation Crawl Classics. We're still working on lots of MCC options. So those will be, let's just say, part of upcoming crowdfundings, not necessarily the headliner, but some of the add-ons. I don't know, Mike, if you want to add anything to that, but
It's still in the works. It's interesting. The reason it's not out yet is because something changed for the good. So it's actually, if all goes well, people are going to be very happy. You just have to wait a little while longer. That's all. So.
I sense Mike is
Appropriately
dancing
cryptic.
around something.
Yes.
Yes,
that was-
exactly. Yeah.
Let's just say I have a lot on my dance card for the next two years. Will box sets like Dying Earth and Lankbar get the hardcover treatment? Well, I mean,
I don't think for those box sets, specifically those box sets, especially Lankmar, the maps are so important. I don't know how you'd put that city map in a hardcover. I feel like that has to stay in a box set.
I don't
Format.
think it does justice putting that in a hard
Yeah.
cover. I think that needs to live in a box.
Yeah, and even for Dying Earth, the map isn't quite as crazy as that Lankmar map, but it's still a beautiful map, and I feel like it works better as a poster map than a book per se. So probably not for those specific ones. But somebody asked for the Chain Coffin. Yeah, somewhere down the line, we definitely. I think we should reprint Chain Coffin in the Tome of Adventure format that we're now doing. It was already a hardcover, so there's not that many differences other than maybe changing the title treatment on the cover. So somewhere down the line for sure.
Yeah.
DCC Conan. Okay, yeah. I mean, I will say I'm a huge Conan. Anybody else reading the new Conan comics? I'm actually not super impressed with those. But has anybody else read the new Conan novel by John Hawking? Yeah. So Titan from out of Britain has Conan IP now. Anyway, there's a new Conan novel out by John C. Hawking. It's his Emerald Lotus Conan story that was printed like 10 years ago, and then he finally wrote a sequel. So I'm rereading the first half, which is the Emerald Lotus story, and working my way towards the second. Actually, as long as we're on fiction, if you haven't read the new Howard Andrew Jones novel, you totally should. I got to Google the title to remind me. But his character Hanuvar is amazing, and those 3 Hanuvar books are awesome. So I just finished that one as well. But anyway, yeah, Conan, I feel like this will sound crazy. As much as I'm a Conan fan, it's almost been overexposed for the last couple of years. I mean, there's been Conan, whether it's an RPG or a board game or a video game or a comic nonstop for like, 10, 12 years now. So I almost feel like we need to pause it and have some fertile ground. So I'd love to do the Conan RPG, but I also want to wait till we have a chance to do it. Sorry, we do not have the license, just to be clear. This is just me wishful thinking. But if someday we ever got it, I'd almost want there to be like a pause and a reset mode and just to come back and do
down
it
the road
in the
of
right way. Yeah, exactly. There's just too much of it right now.
I misinterpreted that comment. Actually, I thought he was looking for a DCC Conan O'Brien game, which I would be very different. Do we have rules for giants? I don't know.
3,000.
That's awesome. Any big new settings in the works? DCC Hollow Earth. So the Hollow Earth reference is Parley's Journey to the Center of Aerith, which was DCC number 91, I want to say. Yeah, and we've talked about bringing, and just so you know, if you're watching the stream, we talk about all sorts of stuff. There's so many great things to do, and we have such a wealth of back catalog material, as well as so many creative people we work with who have amazing ideas for the future. So we often talk about stuff, and then it takes us 5 years to fit it into the schedule because there's so much cool stuff to do. Yep. But yes, Journey to the Center of Aerith, I would love to do. It's not going to happen in 2025, maybe 2026 or 2027. It'd be cool to include indie RPG creators in that as well. Make it, I mean, the inside of the Earth is a big place. Make it where other people can throw stuff in too. Mike, you want to comment on that?
I was just going to say, if there was only some giant, underground themed adventure coming up in 2025, the people should be, I mean,
Yeah, maybe Terror from the Underdeep is something that could, what's the word? Slake your thirst until we get to
exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, down the road somewhere for sure. Softcover XCC. Yeah, XCC hardcover is selling great. Our plan is as soon as we have to do a reprint, we'll throw a softcover into the mix as well. So probably sometime in the next year as that reprint happens. Brendan, what's your favorite X-Crawl adventure? Let's make
That's
you
like
pick your favorite child.
it's worse than having to pick between my favorite child. Also picking my favorite child, but I also have to decide whether or not my nephews and nieces from other parents are also. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'll say that my favorite to run it currently is probably number I guess it's number 3 or number 4. The Please X Troll Don't Hurt Him. That was like I ran that one for like a year. Like that was every X Crawl adventure I did for the longest time. I thought, yeah, that's the one. So had a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun running that with people. So that but for me, it's whatever I'm working on most recently, and right now it's the 36 Chambers of X Crawl. So get yourself ready because wow.
My favorites are all the ones that I managed to get Brendan on board with, and just like, hey, you know what'd be good? Put this in there. And we're like, oh, I like that idea. Those are all my favorites. So.
Mike's an idea machine. Like he totally came up with like some of the coolest stuff. Just kind of like threw it out there. Just like incorporate. So
It's
big
so
up.
easy to come up with ideas and let somebody else do it.
Cool. So we should launch Planet of the Cyclops Con soon. Let me actually drop this in the chat for everybody. You don't have to leave this channel. We'll be coming right back to the same Twitch channel. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you already missed it. But Planet of the Cyclops Con was about to happen. Yeah, it was great. You should have been there. Yeah. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like us and subscribe us. And if you made it this part, you probably already like us, but please subscribe too. If you're watching this on Twitch, let me drop this in the chat. Planet of the Cyclops Con is our online convention that'll be starting soon. I think we should probably wrap up What's New with Goodman Games, and then a couple of us will return soon on the same channel for Planet of the Cyclops Con opening ceremonies. So thank you everybody for sitting with us for what has it been 2.5 hours?
2.5 hours.
What's New with Goodman Games? Yeah, wow.
That was like 13 when we started this, right?
It might have been shorter to say what's not new with Goodman Games. It might have been a shorter show.
At this point, nothing is new. We
Yeah.
announced it all. Actually, there's still something new and big to announce, but we'll cover that when the time comes. Thank you all for joining us. If you have any questions, you can post them in the chat on YouTube and watch this later. We'll try to get around to answering those comments. Like us and subscribe us on YouTube. Like us in real life too. We're nice people. You should totally like us in real life as well. In addition to on the internet. And you can, yeah, most of us. You can meet us in person at Dungeon Con or 50 other cons. Anything else we need to add, folks? Closing comments?
Just have a wonderful Cyclops Con, everybody. And
Yes.
if you're here in the States, have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you celebrate, and we will see you on the flip side.
Cool. All right. See you all soon.